Sit back, relax a little bit. Let me tell you a story. See if yours is anything like mine. Remember when I was a kid? So much better when I popped the lid. Feel the rabble, open it up.
Exactly, listen to Seany. Right, and Cash Out's the easy way to get money transferred when y'all with friends. So, pick up into that and then we'll get back to it.
He said, baby, jump in the back, boy. Tailgate crazy.
Tailgate crazy. What is up, guys? Welcome back for another great episode of Shady Sports Fantasy Reports. I think it's like episode 23, I believe, but we're going into week 6, so we're in the thick of it right now. I think the season's rolling along. We kind of know where we are. So, as always, I'm your bus driver, Cedric Green, and I got my co-pilot here, Justin. What's up, man?
Not a whole lot. Happy Bond. Sorry, I'm a little bit late.
Hey.
Kind of chaos in the house.
It is okay, man. I don't even think, it was noticed because you came on right when the intro ended. So
yeah, sneaky like that.
I was like, well, not going to do his team of the week. No.
Well, that's fine. That's fine. People who are 0-5 or 1-4 don't get teams of the week.
Hey, man, I think I feel in my Yahoo league, I'm the same boat. Let me see where I'm at. Well, anyway, I'll check it out. But anyway, guys, we got another great episode for you tonight. Let me go ahead and tell you what we got going on. Like I said, we're going into week 6, so we're going to be previewing week 6 and the ways that we know how here on Fantasy Football Report. So, we're going to talk about the Broncos Chargers game. We're going to talk about that Lions. Who are the Lions playing?
They played Dallas in Jerry World this weekend.
Lions Cowboys game. And then if we got time, we're gonna touch on that Steelers game as well. But I plan, we want to touch on, should we start them? Should we bench them? You get your questions in, let us know. I'm gonna be, naming some players too, and then we're gonna give you our thoughts on whether you should start them or bench them. There's a couple of bye weeks. We'll touch on that. There's some injury updates. There's a couple of new injuries that are not day to day, but week to week. So we'll see what's up with that. We got some waiver. Who are you gonna add? You lost Nico Collins. You lost, some of these guys this past weekend, or you got some bye weeks this weekend. Who are you gonna add? So we're gonna talk about some waiver ads. Just some really good stuff. You know how we do. So as always, if you haven't already, don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, and share. You can catch us on Shady Sports Network on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, all the social medias. Actually, I'm about to add the Instagram to stream now. I joke. They're not on there.
Has that stream been going on?
What?
The Instagram one? Has that been working?
It does, but I have to because the way that it's set up, you have to add a live feed from Instagram. So I have to start it at the time so I can get that stream key, unless I keep the window open, which I usually don't.
Mm-hmm.
But,
absolutely.
Yeah, so I'll go ahead and get that set up. And then that's Shady Sports Network at 303 Gym. You got Justin at Test Jerry on Sleeper and Discord. You got any updates, Justin? Did you win any games this week?
Well, you could just I won one. So
there you go.
One for well, guillotine you don't really win. I just survived the week, so I didn't get chopped. One league I for sure won. I can take a check here. Let's see. I got my 32 team dynasty league. I won.
And are all your leagues in Sleeper?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, all my leagues are in Sleeper right now.
Makes sense.
Yeah, so out of the 7, I won, looks like 3. So I was more impressed that my team of the week kind of did well and hit that I came up with over the weekend. So hopefully the one I came up with tonight works out for going into next week. And I'm just staying positive, though. It sucks. I'm having rough weekend after rough weekend of fantasy football, but I'm just trying to get it to the dance. And worst case scenario, I'll play spoiler. I'll keep somebody out of the playoffs. I'll beat them late in the year, and
there we go. And I think, and I think if you're those lower seeds, I think that's what you're kind of trying to do, right? At this point, I mean, quite honestly, you don't just give up, right? You just keep going.
No,
right?
no, never give up. I'm not giving up. It's just you gotta take that real, just long, hard, cold water to your face. Look in the mirror for a little bit, and just be like, all right, this is where I'm at. How do I get where I want to go? Make some trades, move your lineup around, put some people in your IR that if you got hit with the injury bug like me, look at the waiver wires, be on top of it, spend that fab, because when you're in a position where you're sub 500 and you're really looking for wins and digging deep, you can't be cheap with your fab. You gotta, if you see a guy in the waiver wire, go for him. You gotta do something. You gotta make that move, because if you miss out on the waiver wire at this point, you're just digging yourself a bigger hole, because those teams that are winning, they're getting their players for cheap because you decided not to put as much fab as you probably should have put in, or however your waivers go, depending on priority or whatnot. But it's the time of the year, if you're in a boat like I am in a lot of leagues, where it's like you gotta do something. The team you drafted is either hurt, they're on bye, or the combination isn't working for your team. So it just, you gotta stay positive, find something to take good out of it each week of your players and your team, and just now you just got, if you're in a position like me, you just got to get in to the playoffs, or you just make somebody else miserable at the end of the year like yourself and keep them out of the playoffs. It's kind of a satisfying feeling. But if you're someone like Ced, who's got cruising teams and doing well, just keep that boat floating and keep doing what you're doing.
Hey, I'm 5-0 in my ESPN league.
What's
Did you see that trade I sent over?
Yeah, that was pretty wicked.
You think I should do it?
I mean,
I like
you're 5-0. I think when you're like that, you have a little bit more of like leeway with risk. Like, okay, if it doesn't work out for a week or so, you're still, above 500. You're doing all right. But for the view of your team going long term, is you got a lot of you got a lot of production of your players so far, and you just have to evaluate your depth if you're comfortable with what you have, or if you feel like I gotta get some boost going towards that, because you never know when that injury bug's going to hit, and then we got to start paying attention to bye weeks. There's a couple leagues where I had teams where like, wow, I had multiple wide receivers on bye. I didn't figure that out. So
to drop someone.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Oopsie.
So I mean, get right into it. We're all about you guys. So we'll jump. Nino Pena jumped on. You need some trade advice. He's in a 10-man
perfect redraft.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you for giving context. If you're going to be posting your questions and stuff like that, you don't have to give us a whole story or a paragraph, but if you give us a little context with the question, we can help provide a better advice or help for you, for your team, and what you need. Yeah. So what has he got going on here, Ced, with his
so he's in a 10-man full PPR, 10-man redraft. Yep. Just meaning they redraft every year for you guys if you're just tuning in. But anyway, yep. He wants to trade away Brian Robinson, Deebo
Which
Samuel.
one?
It looks like just Brian Robinson.
Not Brian, the other Brian Robinson?
Bijan. Sorry.
Oh, Bijan. Okay.
Yeah, Bijan Robinson. He wants to trade away Bijan, Deebo, and Xavier Worthy for Jamar Chase and Tajee Spears. And I mean, I just say yes. But going deeper into it, he says he's hoping to get a 3-headed monster with I'm guessing Chase, Nico, and Jettas. Who is Jettas?
That is Justin Jefferson. I wasn't familiar with the nickname, but I learned it last weekend, and I guess that is what they call him. Okay. I didn't realize he was a Volkswagen, but we'll go from there.
Yeah, so I mean, as far as injuries go, I guess that's a little scary. But at the same time, Deebo gets hurt. Worthy only gets like 5 passes a game. I don't know he probably got more last night, but he's only.
Worthy is your high variance player in this trade. He is high boom, high bust, high risk, high reward. So he is the hardest value to put on because he has the largest variance in his productivity.
I would say even Bijan's kind of like right in that boat too this year. Honestly, he
Bijan,
hasn't been.
I don't. Where Worthy is boomer bust in production is he has high influx of games or like ghosting, disappearing in games. Where Bijan Robinson just hasn't been the featured piece in that offense, so he's got low floor games
True.
and not really high ceiling. He's kind of riding that middle of the road. He's just not. He's not going left. He's not going right. He's just keeping you with your steady, like 9 to 10 points, maybe 12 each week. And out of your running back one, your first round pick you took, you need something more out of that. So, and Debo, that 49ers team right now, they are hot and cold. They're yes or no. They're up and they're down. We don't know exactly what is going on with CMC being out of the offense. I think it's really thrown Kyle Shanahan a wrench, and he's trying to just figure it out on the fly with injuries. He's just trying to manage that team, and the sacrifice in that is some of the playmakers aren't as consistent this year as they were in years past, and they weren't able to have more freedom in that offense because CMC was able to open things up a little bit more for those other guys, where now teams are now able to focus on Debo and Brandon Ayuk and Kittle a little bit more and give them a little bit more attention because CMC isn't on the field. Now to redraft full PPR, I like this deal, and Nino, I would go through it. I would try and get this deal done. I would push it through. I mean, if it's sent to you, I would hit accept, but if you send it out there, I would definitely do that tonight. Here's the thing. I like Jamar Chase in this offense right now. I think the Bengals are surging. They're going to have to put up a lot of points in games to keep up because their defense is bleeding points. They're bleeding yards. So Joe Burrow is going to have to throw a lot more, and they're going to have to rely a lot on the passing game. And with T. Higgins now on the field, that frees up a lot of football field for Jamar Chase. So we saw last week with the Ravens, he was able to hit the holes, get in the zones, and get through busted coverages and take away. I think he had 2 touchdowns and 100 some odd yards.
Yeah.
So he's flourishing in this offense right now, and that's a byproduct of the defense not staying on the field long because they're allowing a lot of points, which is creating the offense being out there a little bit more. And Joe Burrow having to play from either from a deficit or in these one-score close games, having to rely more on his arm in the passing game. And Jamar he's on way upside for rest of season, I feel. And Tajay Spears, he is one of my sneaky waiver wire ads after this week. His bye is behind him. You don't have to worry about that anymore. And he was getting featured in that Dolphins game a little bit, even 50-50 with Tony Pollard. Yes, Tony Pollard had the edge. He was starting, and he was productive with big runs and getting carries for first downs. But Brian Callahan and that Tennessee offense is finding a spot for Spears. They're finding him a way to get touches and opportunities, and that bodes well. That looks good. He's on an upswing rather than him not being featured and Tony Pollard taking the majority of the carries. I feel as the season goes on, they're going to balance those backs more and figure out that offense. And despite the fact that they're probably going to be playing behind a lot because of their defense also bleeding points and yards and not being able to stay on the field as long, I think Tajay Spears has more of a role in the passing game than Tony Pollard, so he has the edge there, whereas Tony will get more of the carries game to game, drive to drive. But he has the ability he's shown where he can be a gadget player in that wildcat at the goal line, rushing for a touchdown, or he can bust it out off the tackle on a handoff. Or if Will Levis or whoever's being the quarterback in that offense, he can catch it out of the backfield and run with it. So I like what you're acquiring that trade and where you're sending in that deal. Those guys are kind of on like a downswing right now. So if you can get them for the value that they have now, that you're winning that deal. And I hopefully look forward to hearing you making that happen and it goes through for you. Because having Justin Jefferson, Nico Collins, and Jamar Chase on your roster, I mean, Nico's hurt, so you're going to have to weather that storm out for a little bit, which we have some waiver wire ads you can have of wide receivers coming up here that we'll let you know about. But in the meantime, I mean, any combination of Jamar and Justin Jefferson, that's a dangerous wide receiver room. I don't know what you think, Seth. I know that's one of my leagues that I won this weekend, and I I traded for 2 weeks ago. I traded for Jamar Chase, and last week I traded for Garrett Wilson in that league. So I have Garrett Wilson and Jamar Chase, and they paid dividends and helped get me a win in that league. So,
yeah, no, I think, yeah, definitely, I would take that trade if that's sent to you. I'm doing that right away. Any chance you get to get,
especially
Jamar
with it
Chase
being
is
redraft,
definitely
you don't have
right.
to focus on like, oh, they're really long down the road value. Just right now, looking to win games. Who's got potential? Who's putting up points? And then who are you looking to move away from?
Well, I mean, and then plus, Bijan, if you have him, he's been giving you a headache, right?
Yeah. Well, they are playing the Panthers this weekend,
yeah,
so
but I mean, shoot, I mean,
the Bears just put a clinic on them. So,
true. But
then again, Atlanta's offense is weird. Mooney was getting touchdowns. Ray McLeod was getting big plays. Drake
Atlanta's
London
weird.
had a show of things. Kyle Pitts was getting out there too. So
and they don't know how to use Bijan. They don't. The
Yeah.
coaches. I don't know. Whatever. But yeah, no, I would take this right away. Hit that trade and take it and keep it moving, because I think that'd be a dangerous trio you have, especially once Nico comes back.
And hopefully you can get in before Thursday, because Debo plays Thursday night against the Seahawks. So hopefully that deal can get done tonight or tomorrow night or before games on Thursday, depending on how your trade
talking about that
clock works.
There you go. We're going to touch on that hopefully a little bit later. So yeah, here we go. We got Austin, Nino. Thank you for joining. Austin, thank you for joining, guys. Don't forget to share.
I like this question. I like the defenses.
Yeah,
I'll let you take it. So you go first.
Packers, Texans, or Eagles. Let me check these schedules here.
So Packers are playing the Cardinals at home.
Okay.
Texans are playing the Patriots, and the Patriots are starting Drake May this weekend.
Yeah, I'm probably going Texans. Well, who are the Eagles playing?
Eagles are playing the Browns.
Damn.
See, there's a caveat in each game.
Yeah, but the Eagles, didn't they just
the Eagles are coming off a bye. They're fresh, restored, and they've had 2 weeks to plan for this game.
Yeah. What did they? Oh, they released their linebacker, Devin White.
The Buccaneers?
The Eagles.
Oh, the Eagles did?
Yeah.
I thought he was a Buccaneers I thought he was a Buccaneers for a while.
I don't know. It says Eagles released, and it was like 4 hours ago. Adam Schefter put it out.
Interesting.
Well, I mean, but at the same time, Drake May started, and it's not like they're starting Drake May because he looked amazing, right? They're starting Drake May because they feel they need to see what they have in Drake May. And then if Drake May doesn't work out, they have the other rookie. What's his name? Milton.
They have Jacoby Brissett that they'd probably pivot back to.
No, I think they'll look at Milton too. They kind of see what they have.
Yeah, that's right. They have Milton over there.
Yeah, so they're just starting Drake May to see what they have. So it's not like, oh, Drake May is gonna light it up. So you know what I mean? I'd probably go with the Texas defense, because at the same time, I mean, Nico's probably going to be out, but still, they're going to be lighting it up on the offensive side. They should be getting, hopefully, Joe Mixon back. We'll see. But they did get Tank Dell back. They still got Stephon Diggs. They still
I think I will check and get some more info here real quick. I know the Packers are playing the Cardinals at home.
See, and the Cardinals defense. Our offense has been sneaky, man. They've been sneaky.
Yeah. The Eagles are playing Cleveland at home, and the Texans are playing the Eagles are playing the Browns at home. The Texans are playing the Patriots in New England. So you're picking the Texans defense out of those three?
And the Eagles are playing the Browns at home? Let me see.
Yes, coming off a bye with 2 weeks to plan for the game.
Let me see. Hold on. Who was the other? Texans. Let me see this. Yeah, I think I'm probably still gonna stick with the Texans, man. I know it's in New England, but it's New England at the same time. Like, I think I'm probably still rocking out the Texans on that one.
Yeah, there's a caveat for all three of these teams. So for me, the Packers are the number 2 scoring defense right now in fantasy football, and they're coming off a win against the Rams. The Cardinals' offense has been very inconsistent and hit or miss right now. It really is going to depend. It's really going to depend on the Cardinals whether or not the good Kyler Murray shows up and balls out on Sunday, or if we're going to see the bad Kyler Murray on the road show up and then the Packers defense take advantage of it. Packers play a little bit harder at home. They play a little bit better. They held the Vikings to some turnovers, and they came back and made it a game at home 2 weeks ago. So if you're believing in the Packers defense, holding up that number 2 ranking in fantasy football right now on Sleeper. So they're a very good defense for turnovers, scoring off of turnovers, and just holding teams to low yardage. Not necessarily points, because they have currently, it looks like they have 102 points allowed on the season. But they're a turnover machine, and they are doing very well when they play at home. The Texans, they're a middle of the road defense. They didn't really do that well with the Bills, but the Bills is a high scoring offense. They're high powered, so that's to be expected. And then
plus I just assume that the Texans will be scoring a lot on offense, causing Drake May to have to throw a lot, causing a lot of interceptions.
Yeah, rookies tend to have the biggest variances for turnovers and making mistakes. So you have a high opportunity for turnovers and points off turnovers and potentially defensive scores. And anytime you can feast off a rookie quarterback, that's a good thing. And then for the Eagles defense, they're kind of a middle of the road defense as well. They've had tougher matchups to start off the year, except they've had 2 weeks to prepare for this game. They're all rested and healthy, and they're playing a Cleveland offense at home, playing a Cleveland offense with a quarterback in Deshaun Watson that's proven he's inconsistent. He's not very accurate with his throws, and he's prone to making mistakes and turnovers as well. And that Cleveland running game, unless if Nick Chubb is back, we don't know how much of Nick Chubb we will see in the game if he does come back.
That running game has been their saving grace.
Otherwise the running game for the Browns has not shown anything to be threatened or scared about. So
let's see.
For each of these 3 teams, you're going for 3 different things. For the Eagles, you're going off of rested and going up against a bad offense at home. So they're going to keep the score low, and they have a high probability for turnovers. The Texans are going on the road. They're playing a rookie quarterback, but they have also a high variance of possible defensive scoring and turnovers off of the rookie quarterback. And then the Packers, which is probably going to be a more defensively stout game, not necessarily a lot of turnovers or points off of turnovers, but probably keeping the Cardinals off the scoreboard and stopping drives, getting their offense back on the field a lot sooner, so they'll have less opportunities for scoring points because they'll be killing Cardinals drives, best case scenario, which means their offense is outscoring. So for me, in the order I have it in, is I would go Eagles defense, and the kicker there is they're playing at home against a bad offense. And then it's the Texans defense on the road against New England, against a rookie quarterback. And then third in that order is Packers, just because Kyler can be Kyler, and then Kyler can be bad Kyler. We just don't know. So the less liability, the more probability of a safer floor is, for me, going to be the Eagles defense, because I like the fact that they had a week to rest and they had 2 weeks to plan for this game.
So
they should come out prepared. Yes, okay. I'm going Eagles defense. But I will say, if you choose the Texans, that's not a bad choice either. That's my second choice. Both are good options to have if they're on your waiver wires. I would put in a claim for the one you prefer first, and then a claim underneath it for the one that you go second. That way, if you miss out on your first one, you get the second one. And it doesn't hurt to put a claim in for all 3 of them, because if someone has the same thought process as you, and you miss out on your first 2, you at least get your third option. Hopefully, you don't get all 3 swiped from you, depending on where you are in the waiver priorities, but you're likely to have a higher probability to have a chance at all 3 of those defenses, which are all good defenses for this weekend.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, the Packers have probably looked the best recently, but I mean, just because they've been in some high scoring games, they've been coming back too. So, I mean, the defense has been locking down.
Yeah. And the league that I'm playing in, I have all 3 of those defenses available to me, and I have claims put out there for all 3 of them, and just in different order. So, like I said, I have Eagles, I have Packers, and then I have Texans. I like to tend to lean defenses at home. They got the crowd behind them. They play a little bit better, but still not going wrong if you play the Texans. I mean, like you said, they're going to score a bunch of points and they're going to expose Drake May for his rawness and inexperience.
Yeah. So this one, legendary one. Guys, keep them coming. Keep them coming.
I love it, guys. I love it.
Keep those questions coming. We will get to them. I promise you. Yeah, drop Keenan Allen for either Downs or Tolbert. I'll let you take that one. And I want to say, hey, Austin, thanks for getting that question there. He said it's going to go with the Eagles. We'll see how that goes, man. We'll see how that goes.
I hope it works out well for you. And if not, you can blame me. I'm totally fine with that.
There you go.
You should have listened to Ced.
hey, I like he said, any one of those defenses you'll probably be pretty happy with, this weekend. I don't know if we'll see. I just feel like any one of those games have potential.
And all three of those games play at noon. So there's no difference in time spots. They'll all be out of the way right away in the morning.
Yeah, so there you go. So yeah, we got legendary one. He wants to know, or they want to know if they should drop Keenan Allen for either Joshua Downs or Justin Tolbert. And
damn,
I know someone's getting it. What do you think that was? I don't even know. I'm trying to learn.
Oh man, that was definitely a Euro car.
That was definitely a Euro.
Is that a turbo?
Car. It sounded like it. I don't know. It probably was some little four banger. No, that was just anyway.
He just wanted to get on the show without being on the show. He's like, I want to make some noise.
That's how we do. And you guys, hey, I mean, I do specialize in Euro imports, specifically BMWs and Audis. So if you guys want that, that turbo superchargers, hit me up. I got you. But no, I mean, and speaking of turbo and superchargers this week, Tolbert, I'd say, was probably a supercharger, right? And Downs was
he saved me in a league. He saved me in the guillotine league with that touchdown in the last second. It kept me from getting chopped.
Who, Downs?
No, Tolbert.
Against
Steelers, that last second touchdown, that saved me from getting chopped. So I totally appreciate that, Tolbert. But here, to answer your question, legendary one, I am dropping Keenan Allen. You know how I feel about Bears and Bears players. I already have a slighted bias towards them. I tend to keep them off my roster, off my team, and I tend to not like starting them or playing any of them. Just they might be good talent, great talent, and they have the name value there, and they have the old performances to rest on their laurels. But for me, that does nothing. I don't like Bears. I don't like Bears players. I know it gives a little bit jaded of opinion, but Keenan Allen hasn't shown anything this year. He's been hurt for the majority of the start of the season. And when he did play last week, he wasn't the focal point of that offense. He wasn't the number one look for Caleb Williams. So I have to see it before I can believe in it for Keenan Allen. I need to see a couple not back-to-back games necessarily, but a couple good performances stacked up within the week before I can start trusting him. So for the first part, absolutely, I'd be dropping Keenan Allen. Now for either Josh Downs or Jalen Tolbert, my caveat here is if Flacco is playing quarterback for the Colts this weekend, it's absolutely Josh Downs over Jalen Tolbert. Downs had 12 targets. That is amazing. Like I say before, volume is king. Opportunity is king. When you're getting 12 targets from your quarterback, catching 8 of them, more likely you're getting double-digit points, and that helps you just in your flex spot alone. I mean, you could start either Downs or Tolbert this week in your wide receiver 2 spot at the bare minimum, but they're a high-reward flex that I say this week. So I would drop Keenan Allen, and I would prefer Josh Downs going up against, I believe the Colts are playing the Tennessee Titans. They are playing the Tennessee Titans in Tennessee, but that doesn't matter to me. I like the volume. And if Flacco's playing, now if Anthony Richardson is playing, I'm a little bit worried, but I'd still prefer Josh Downs over Tolbert because the Lions coming off of the bye, even though Tolbert's playing at home against the Lions, I think that defense will be rested. They'll get it figured out from the Seahawks game 2 weeks ago. They won't give up as many yards or points. I don't believe. I think the higher ceiling is with Downs and the safer floors with Downs. Tolbert could still have a good game. I can see him getting 5 to 7 catches, maybe 50, 60 yards. And he's been known through Dak from this last game and a couple games before. I don't remember which one, but he finds his way to the end zone too. So both are two great options. I lean Downs over Tolbert because I want to see the Lions have a better game against the Cowboys and not see Tolbert do as well. But I can see them both doing good. I think Downs does a little bit better. I would drop Keenan Allen for Downs. How about you, Sed?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, the same thing, right? If Flacco's playing, I mean, yeah. If Anthony Richardson,
or how do you feel about Anthony Richardson if he's playing? Like from what you saw from Richardson,
I'm probably looking at Pittman only. I don't know. I think it changes drastically because it's really hit or miss. But if Flacco's playing, then yeah. I mean,
well, here I'll give you the last 3 games for Josh Downs. He's had last week he had 12 targets.
Mm-hmm.
Week 4 he had 9 targets. Mm-hmm. Week 3 he had 5 targets. So that's a health. He's got 26 targets in the last 3 weeks, which is not bad at all. Where Tolbert, what's he done? Tolbert, let's go here.
Yeah, see, so that's what I'm saying. Like, and you see, like,
I like
Anthony Richardson were in there though. His target share was like really low because there's a lot of running. That's a lot of, you know, Michael Pittman. That's a lot of plays not going his way or plays not being finished. Unfortunately, that's the only thing about it. And then yeah, with Tolbert.
So what I would do is put your priority claim in for Downs for me, and then also put one in for Tolbert because someone might have the same idea as you, dropping one of their bye week wide receivers or hurt wide receivers and going for Downs. You don't know how much they're going to put fab on it or where they're at in the waiver priority. So if you don't get Downs or you don't get Tolbert, getting one of those two for Keenan Allen is definitely an upgrade in my opinion.
I mean yeah, you're definitely getting something out of it.
Yeah, because optically it looks bad dropping Keenan Allen. And it's like, because of the big name and how he's done in the past, but just the Bears offense, I don't trust him in it right now. He's not their focal point. There is one sneaky thing you could do. I mean, it's one strategy is what I don't recommend it, but what some people do is like you would drop Keenan Allen right now. So then people would see that he's dropped and then they would go and target him off of the waiver wire, taking their attention off of Downs and Tolbert, and then you could get Downs or Tolbert for cheaper and a better chance of getting them in the priority because people are now going after Keenan Allen for you dropped. Not a strategy I recommend, but it is technically under the rules of your league, if it's possible, something you could do to kind of throw a little bit of traps or mines out there for your league mates to slip on and get their attention caught up to get the guys you want off of waivers.
Yeah, because that's probably like your third or fourth receiver anyway. And Keenan Allen, I hope he isn't your second receiver and you're trying to replace your second receiver. So hopefully you're just trying to get some extra points, maybe in a flex spot or pick up a second receiver in a bye week. So we got Derek Jackson. He has a squad. So 10-team full PPR. Derek, thank you for tuning in. 10
thank you, Derek. PPR. I like hearing from you.
Heck yeah. And then so we'll do this question.
2 wins?
We'll go
man, I'd love 2 wins.
Promos. But yeah, no. He has 2 wins, 3 losses. Looking like my Yahoo team. That's where I'm sitting too.
Okay. So you're not immortal. You're not invincible.
Oh, no,
you got some L's.
Not at all. Let me tell you, last week my opponent had Devontae Adams and Zamir White playing, and they were both out.
Oh wow.
So 2 zeros, and I still lost, I think, by like almost 40 points.
Was that a flex on you? Did you do that on purpose? Like
I think it was.
I could put Raiders in my lineup, Said, but I'm still gonna beat you. He's just like, look at me.
Yeah,
I got Raiders in my lineup.
It was weird. I still lost by like almost 40 points. So yeah, like
damn.
We're not all there.
Did you throw a flag on that game? Like taunting on the other team.
I think it was set up or something, like checking scoring or something. It was rigged. Check those balls, make sure they're inflated properly. But no, Derek, guys, don't forget to hit that thumbs up, guys. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up.
We appreciate that too. If you like what you're hearing and seeing,
support us. So yeah, Austin, Legendary One, Nino, all you guys, like, don't forget to hit that thumbs up. But yeah, no, Derek says he's in a 10-team full PPR, 2 wins, 3 losses, 8 seed. top 6 make the playoffs, so he got to push
Okay.
it. He has Justin Jefferson. He has Jettis.
Yep, he's on a bye.
All right. He wants to get Amon-Ra, ETN, Anthony Richardson, Baker Mayfield, Amari Cooper, and he's giving up hold on. All right,
AJ Brown.
He giving up AJ Brown, Puka Nacua, Ramondre Stevenson, Zach Moss, and Brock Purdy. I'm like trying to look at the two together, like it's not really.
If you believe you're a true contender and you want to go for that playoff spot, I know you're in the 8th seed right now, top 6. You're only 2 spots out. This is a move you make to get yourself in the playoffs and make a run. I say do this trade.
You really just doing this to get, to get?
No, because with these players, they could carry you in the playoffs.
Amon-Ra St. Brown. But are they going to do that, though? Who's going to trade away?
Oh, yes. Amon-Ra St. Brown in the playoffs. I trust him in my lineup. He'll get you 20 to 30 points. ETN, he's on a downswing. Yes, he's hurt.
If he's getting that trade, if someone sent him that trade, then yeah, take it. But who's doing this trade, though?
Oh, so we don't know if he sent it or if he.
I don't know, Derek. Did you send this trade or did you receive this trade? Get back to us. Let us know.
Regardless, I would take if I'm giving up AJ Brown, Puka, Ramondre, Zach, and Brock Purdy. Here's the thing: Puka is still going to be on the IR for at least 2 more weeks, I believe. I think he said the earliest he can return is week 7, probably around week 8 or 9, realistically. Zach Moss, he's an effective running back for that offense, but like I stated with the Jamar Chase case, is I feel like the Bengals are going to be throwing a lot more, having to keep up in games, so the opportunities are going to suffer for Zach Moss. He's not going to get that volume. He might score at the goal line if they get down close, or a pass out of the backfield from Burrow. That's always a possibility, and that's good. But Brock Purdy, like I said too, that San Francisco offense, it's hit or miss. You don't know if you're going to get the good Brock Purdy with the big game, or if you're just going to get the mid Brock Purdy with this, low floor game. And then with Ramondre Stevenson, that's a bad I mean, he's a great player. He did well this weekend, but that New England offense is trying to figure itself out. They're installing a new rookie quarterback. We don't know how that's going to translate if they end up keeping him in there. It will affect his production. I mean, he's not going to be falling off a cliff or anything, but if you're looking for those big games out of Ramondre that you're expecting, it's probably more going to be more middle of the road running back 2 or flex productivity out of him. And AJ Brown's the best piece out of that you're giving up. He's coming back healthy off of injury in 2 weeks to rest at 3 probably now. So, you're sacrificing that, but I'd gladly sacrifice an AJ Brown and a Puka and those guys to get no bias here at all. Amon-Ra St. Brown, who's a top, 5 or 6 wide receiver in the league. ETN, who's by depth chart the starting running back for the Jaguars and should, recuperate, get healthy, and make a run here. Anthony Richardson, he's the highest wild card in this whole thing. I mean, I don't know what your quarterback situation is, but I would take the risk on Anthony Richardson because you're also getting Baker Mayfield. And Mayfield has shown from the first half of this season so far that he can put up big points and he can produce. He's got Godwin, he's got Evans, he's got Cade Otton, and he's got those running backs out of the backfield. So you got some safety net there, even if AR-15 doesn't bank out for you. And then Amari Cooper, I mean, he could have his games too. It just depends on if Deshaun Watson's going to want to play football or figure out how to play football again. And he's still a good wide receiver. He's still a talented wide receiver, but he's more of the wide receiver 2 to flex range for you, where like your big winner there is Amon-Ra St. Brown. So I would definitely, because I want to win now. That's how my strategy is. I want to play to win. Obviously, it doesn't work out, but like if I'm sitting in your spot, 2 and 3, 8th seed, looking up to the top, to the 6th seed, and I think I can do it. I already have Justin Jefferson. Absolutely.
Heck yeah. I think that was a great breakdown of that. I was looking like, so many players, I can't keep up with it.
Yeah, I tried to split it up for you, like make it to translate it, make it easier.
No, but yeah, no, true. I'm just saying, like, Derek, I don't know if Derek even got back to us. Oh, here we go. Yeah, it's a done deal. Oh, it's a 4-team.
It's a done deal.
It hasn't gone through. Oh, well, then do it. Yes, didn't do it. Okay, it's a 4-team trade.
No,
Yeah.
it's all good. It's all
Yeah,
good.
that is a good one then.
I still think you won in that deal.
Yeah, for sure. I think
and it's good that you got the deal done now just as a process because Purdy does play on Thursday night. So if the other team wants to use him, it just helps to move that along.
And guys, hey, we're gonna cut away. I'm gonna cut away to a promo really quick. Perfect. But I do want to say, guys, don't forget to hit that like button because when you do hit that like button, it tells YouTube to suggest us out more. And then hopefully it helps get more people engaging. Yeah, and then we're all engaging. It's all working together. A hive, hive mindset, right? Because then we get other guys on. We see, other people. We're looking at other teams and like, hey, like somebody else can reach out and be like, yeah, I was doing this too. I was thinking about that trade or this and that. So, guys, please hit that like button. Please hit that share button and keep it going. Austin, thank you for hitting that like button. And guys, thanks for getting the questions in. It's rocking right now. We haven't even started talking about my Broncos yet. So
we haven't even gotten there yet, but
right. So
night is young.
We'll cut away to a promo, then we'll come back. Looks like we got some more questions in. But actually, we'll pull up your team of the week there, Justin.
And then we'll touch on your Broncos.
And we'll get to the Broncos. We'll get to the team.
We'll get there.
We'll get to the team reviews. But I like talking the players right now. It's fantasy, fantasy football reports. So let's get these reports on. So here we go. The promo. We'll be right back, guys. Yo, what's up? Everybody just joining us. Welcome into episode 23 of Shady Sports Fantasy Reports. I am your bus driver, Cedric Green, and I got my co-pilot over here, Justin. Justin, we've been rocking, man. I mean, since we started, we've been having all these questions come in, start and set them. Trade questions mostly, because it's that time of year, right? Like it's where you got to make these moves. You got to try to make these moves. Like I tried to make
draft a trade. Doesn't matter no more. Who you
draft is out the window. Matter. Yeah,
all
you
those
probably have
ranking gone.
Yeah, that's gone. I tried to make a trade for Stephon Diggs. I tried to trade Dalton Schultz for Diggs. I was just like, look, you need a tight end. I need Diggs because
not a bad offer. I mean, it's the same offense.
He just denied it though. But this is where it comes. The time you're trying to get your team right and get that tune up going into the midway point into the season. So Austin has some more on his team. So
love it, Austin. Thank you
for all this. Yeah, Austin, you coming in hot tonight.
Oh, he's got my champion. I knew I like this guy.
And I want to know about him too, because I'm trying to see what's up with him as well. But he has Aaron Jones, and Jonathan Taylor and Derrick Henry. He's expecting to land Bigsby and Chase Brown. And he's wondering if he should start Aaron Jones and Jonathan. Who should he start if Aaron Jones and Jonathan Taylor aren't available? Well, you're definitely starting King Henry. Oh, first off. Like you're starting King. Oh, I guess you're saying in place. Well, Bigsby's a hard one, right? Because he didn't really have. I mean, he went off, but it was.
But it plays into the ETN thing. Is how serious is that shoulder injury? The Doug Peterson didn't have him play a lot this last game because they were trying to save him and conserve him and limit his reps because they wanted to preserve his body and not risk any further injury. So it might be serious enough where they're worried about it, but it's not serious to where he can't play at all. So it's that fine little weird zone of like, yeah, he can play, but how productive is he going to be? And Bigsby's shown this last game that when he gets the opportunity, he can make something and do something with it. So I like that. And it might be like a changing of a guard thing, sort of like the Buccaneers offense where Rachaad White got hurt. He was still able to play, but didn't play well. And Bucky Irvin had a couple games where he went off. So you kind of can use that as a template or resemblance of like, okay, so I see it works over here. It could work over here. And if that trend continues out of the two going forward, I like Chase Brown as the pass catching back for the Bengals offense. It reiterates the fact what I was saying where the Bengals are going to have to throw more and keep up in games because their defense is not helping them out and making teams stay in games longer and making games closer. The Bengals do play the Browns Sunday night this weekend.
Okay.
Or the Bengals play the Giants Sunday night this weekend. So Brown is a good play against the Giants on Sunday night. I like him for the pass catching ability, but I like Bigsby more for the volume. So it's more of like a preferential thing you like there. Do you like the pass catching, the PPR aspect of it, of a Chase Brown getting you points to the air and like taking advantage of goal line opportunities like he did over this last weekend? Or you got the potential side of it of a Bigsby who can take more of the workload now, let ETN get healed up and see what else he can do in this offense, given the better opportunity. Now, I also like Brown over Bigsby in this situation because Bigsby is going to be playing the Chicago Bears in London this weekend. They'll have to travel, go overseas, and they're playing that Bears defense. Like I said, I don't like to praise them as much as I already do, but the Bears defense is legitimate. They're the real deal. They're effective.
Well, their offense is cooking too, right? So,
and that helps their defense. They stay fresher. They can make bigger plays. So I feel like Bigsby could be limited this weekend with his big play potential going up against that defense.
Yep.
So Austin, in that scenario, I would start Chase Brown between the two of those, between Bigsby and Brown, until Jonathan Taylor and Aaron Jones comes back. Now with Aaron Jones, he's got the bye week, so he already has 1 week to get healthy. And he had 3 quarters because he didn't play the second half of last week's game. And from what it sounds like is it's not that serious of an injury, but he's getting an MRI to check it out. It wasn't enough to keep him completely out of the game, but they edged because of his age and his wear and tear on his body. The edged on the side of precaution and didn't risk it because they know that he's their number one. He's their running back one. And it showed in that game with Ty Chandler that he wasn't as productive as Aaron Jones has been. So they really are being cautious with him. So it might take a week or two for him to get back. The bye week helps. So be a little bit more cautious with him. Jonathan Taylor, on the other hand, it's a high ankle sprain, but it sounded like he's going to play and he wants to play, which, you're rolling the dice there. It's, bigger risk for injury. Yes. So, it's good to have a running back of either Bigsby or Brown's caliber that you're expecting to get, as you said, to fill in those spots in the meantime. And then if you already got Derrick Henry, man, you just need Chase Brown and Bigsby to get you probably like 12, 15 points.
I was going to say 10, 12 points.
Yeah, because Henry's going to just he gonna rule the kingdom.
And that's what you're going to get from Bigsby. I feel like, I don't know. Yeah, like you said.
Which one do you like more, Chase Brown or I went on the Brown side. I like Chase Brown this weekend.
I'd probably – let me see what Brown's done so far because I'm not looking at either one. Well, I did regret not playing Bigsby this past weekend, but I think that's really
who would have known? ETN was supposed to be the starter. He was supposed to play the majority of the carries, and he got that shoulder injury.
Chase Brown has been more consistent over the past few weeks, even with
Zach Moss in there?
With Zach Moss in the backfield, and he's out.
He's the more of the change of pace back. He's the pass catching back. He's the
So, but I mean, based off that, I would probably want to just stick with him over Bigsby. Because I wouldn't be mad with Bigsby either.
I wouldn't be mad with Bigsby either. Yes, I would agree. But I'm just a little bit more worried this weekend. Him playing the Bears defense overseas. You could tell even with that Jets-Vikings game, if you watched it, both offenses were really sluggish, slow coming out of the gate. The Vikings weren't putting up points like they normally did. The Jets weren't clicking on offense. So I think that travel plays an effect on the players. It takes a little bit to get going, and it leads an edge for the defenses going overseas. And then what I liked, because I watched a lot of not only the Vikings Jets, I watched a lot of that Ravens Bengals game. And when it was in crunch time, Chase Brown was on the field playing catch up and playing those crunch time minutes, which is very important to have because it's a higher opportunity for points. So when the game is more close or more like established and like a tempo is presented, it seems like Zach Moss is going to be the running back on the field. But when the game's close, and like I said before, Bengals are probably going to be in a lot of one-score games, close games because of their defense. I think you'll see Chase Brown in there to change it up, try to break one open because he has that ability to do so. I mean, Zach Moss is no scrub, but from what I watched just up against the Ravens is that he was on the field more, and he was, like you said, consistent with his production because of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, yeah. So I mean, and for that, but I would probably just stick with Chase. Because of that, though, he just seems to be a little bit more consistent. But I mean,
Hell
Bigsby, I
yeah.
think it's only until ETN comes back. So,
I would
we got
monitor that
James,
ETN situation.
huh? Yeah.
I would.
So watch that ETN situation for sure, guys. That'll be a big.
And I heard a rumor from a coworker today. I heard a rumor. This is just a rumor, not confirmed. A writer, an independent writer for the Minnesota Vikings, was heard talking with Jaguars reps about a potential trade for ETN coming to Minnesota, potentially affecting how the Aaron Jones situation because of how hurt he may or may not be. But that's out there. I don't know if it's any substantial about it. I just heard it secondhand through a coworker today. Take it for what you will. I keep an eye and monitor that situation because the Jaguars' offense is not essential, like at its full potential right now.
Yeah.
Kobe.
Yeah, and I mean, Bigsby did go off 101 rushing yards, 28 receiving yards.
Yeah. It's definitely not to blink at. You gotta keep your finger on the pulse with both those running backs.
Yeah. So Austin, there you go. I think you're fine starting either one of those guys with Derrick Henry, but if you're looking to start all three, going down to your flex, I may check and see who your wide receivers are as well. And maybe look in a different direction for flex. And hey, you got other options too. Maybe look at tight end. You can probably scoop up a second tight end off of waiver. I'm not opposed to using a tight end and flex. I think in the beginning of the year I was like, I don't know about that, but I kind of changed.
But hey, if you got the Tucker Crafts of the world and whatnot,
exactly,
just fine.
Yep, exactly. So we got moving on. We got James Hernandez.
Hello, James.
Pick 3: Harrison, Diggs, Reed, Godwin.
Gotcha. I know mine. What do you got?
I'm gonna say, Diggs, Godwin for sure, right? And then probably Jaden Reed, man, just because that Packers offense is looking legit.
I'm with you on that. I got the same 3.
That Packers offense is looking legit. Hold on, I gotta
go.
I
said about, I like Harrison. Don't get me wrong, but I tend to like the rookie. He's been inconsistent as a rookie so far. Like it all revolves around Kyler Murray. About
I'll be right back.
Whether or not he's going to have a big game or not. And if the Kyler Murray that we like shows up, then he'll have a big game against that Packers defense. It's kind of a stingy defense. And for this week, I'd go Diggs, Reed, and Godwin. That situation down in Texas with the Nico Collins being out for a while, I think Diggs is really going to step up and be that wide receiver 1. And that helps out Tank Dell too. He's going to start to fit into that offense. So you're going to see a little bit more production there. But Diggs is definitely going to eat while Nico sits. Jaden Reed, he is the number 1. He is the alpha in that offense. He's separated himself from Wicks and Dobbs and Watson. It doesn't help that Dobbs was suspended and Watson has been hurt for the last couple of weeks. But Jordan Love has built the rapport with him. He likes him. He throws it on the deep ball, and he throws it to him behind the line. And he throws him intermediate. He's got all areas of the field that he covers, and you got to like that in a wide receiver. He's able to run the ball as well. He's like the prototype Debo. He's like a younger Debo Samuel in his prime. And then Chris Godwin, he's just eating in the slot. Baker Mayfield's cooking, and if Evans isn't open, he's going to Godwin as a check down, and he likes what he sees there. So I definitely like those 3. There's no knock against Harrison. He's a rookie. He's going to have his knocks. He's up and downs. It's too much inconsistency and too much of a liability in my lineups, especially if I'm sitting where I'm at in my teams. I'm not going to trust more times than not a rookie to try to carry me into the playoffs, unless if it's like a 100% consistent. We've seen 4 big boom games from Harrison, then just ride it out. But haven't seen that yet. Got to let him develop a little bit more, get him a rapport with Kyler Murray, and he should be just fine.
No, yeah, especially in a dynasty, right? Yeah, for sure. Harrison all day.
Yeah.
But in a redraft, right now, especially Diggs. I mean, I
Mhm.
didn't hear you, but I imagine you said because the Nico Collins
Yeah, with the
injury.
Nico injury, and like with Tank Dell will get an opportunity too, so it'll take some
Mhm.
coverage off of Diggs because Tank Dell is able to bolt down the field, but he's able to do the intermediate stuff. He's just like
Yep.
kind of like a younger version of Diggs.
Yep. So I think it'll be interesting to see. I think that's a solid trio. Any one of those four. I think any direction, I think you'll be happy. But Harrison has been a bit up and down. It's been a bit of a curve, So, like you said, if it were 4 solid weeks, yeah, all day, night. But until they really show, like maybe give it about another week or two, see how they do these next couple weeks. Going into the second half of the season, they'll probably look a bit more consistent to where you're like, okay, Marvin Harrison, let's go.
For sure.
Yeah, guys, keep it coming, keep it coming. Thanks for hitting those like buttons, Andrew, Austin. So yeah, we got Andrew says, does he start Bucky Irvin or was it Tony Tracy? Is that his name?
Tyrone Tracy, I
Tyrone
think.
Tracy.
I'll take a peek
Or
here
Devin
real quick.
Singletary. His running backs are Kyron, James Cook, Kareem, and Bucky. So, well, where's Tracy come from in Singletary if he has? Well, I'm confused. Andrew, I'm
Tyrone
confused.
Tracy, I think it's
He's with New
Tyrone.
York. He's with New
Yeah,
York.
he's
If he's with
Singletary's backup.
yeah, he went off. He did pretty good.
He had a
So I
really
feel
good
like,
game against that Seattle defense on the road. Like that's promising. The fact that he did that cross country on the road in the 12th man, and
they got to win.
And they got to win. So that's impressive. That's nothing
win.
to shake your head. Like that's very good. That puts some little nervousness in Devin Singletary owners, and that gives something for the Giants to think about if we give Singletary one more week of rest and see what we really got here with Tracy. Not necessarily usurping Singletary for the starting job, but just solidifying what they saw and be like, okay, we can really believe in it if he has another game like this. So it's a bummer you have Kyron and who else?
He has James Cook, Kareem Hunt, and Bucky Irvin.
Okay, and then because Kyron and Kareem have buys. Well, so I would start Cook for sure Monday night against the Jets. I mean, he should have a better game. It couldn't get, any worse than what he had this weekend. I don't think he had a stellar game, but it wasn't definitely one of those pop-off games he's had earlier in the year. Believe me, I know I was a victim to that big 3-touchdown James Cook game. That was demoralizing. So out of these running backs, I would definitely start Bucky because they're going up against New Orleans in New Orleans, and the Saints just got rocked by the Chiefs, and they just lost, it sounds like, Derek Carr for a while. So I don't know how long that offense is going to be able to stay on the field, which gives more opportunities to the Buccaneers offense, and more opportunities means more volume potentially and more chances for Bucky to score if, I don't think they're fully sold on like keeping Rachaad White as the running back one. He just hasn't separated himself. Like before that big run he had on Thursday of 50 yards, I think he was averaging 1 or 2 yards per carry. That's not good enough for your running back one. So there's an argument there that Bucky is going to continue to eat more into the workload of Rachaad White and have more opportunities. And yes, Bucky fumbled, but the coaches came out after the game and said that it happens. He's a rookie. We have to live through it and grow through it. And it doesn't stop us from giving him more opportunity and show us what he has in his talent and potential. So I'm comfortable firing up Bucky against the Saints, even though it's New Orleans, because those divisional games we just saw with the Buccaneers and Falcons, they're high scoring, a lot of points, and you want to be a part of that if you can. I think that Saints defense will be exhausted having to be on the field a little bit longer with, losing Derek Carr. I don't know what the Saints quarterback situation is like, how Olave and Shaheed and those guys and even Kamara are going to operate. So I can see the Bucs offense being on the field for quite a bit on Sunday. Now, with Singletary or Tracy, that is the question. This is the biggest curveball out of these group here that you have. because you've got to monitor the Singletary situation. I think it's going to come all the way up until game time, I think. And they play Sunday night. So you don't have much options for pivoting other than the Monday night game. So if you settle on one of these two guys, you have to be confident and set in on one of these two guys, because all the other running backs will have played during the day. You will be very limited to your options. I tend to lean Tracy out of this, because if I put my GM hat on, I saw what I saw out of Tracy on the road against a good team. Give him another shot, another opportunity, showcase his talents, let Singletary rest. I like the idea of giving Singletary just one more week to fully recover for his injuries and having two healthy backs going into the next week than trying to rush Singletary back, risking him getting potentially hurt even more and being out longer and creating more of a workload on a rookie running back like Tyrone Tracy to carry the team while Singletary is recovering, which when you could have just let him rest, get fully healthy, and lean on the ability. Because they also have Eric Gray there, and he did pretty good too out of that offense over the weekend.
Yeah.
A couple big receptions, and he had some rushing yards. So surprising thing that I didn't expect coming out of the Giants running back room to start the season is that they got some people who can run the ball. And the offensive line is doing a little bit better than they were. I mean, they're a dumpster fire last year, but we're seeing progress. We're seeing growth. We're seeing continuity and a connection with that offensive line, and it's getting better. So it's creating opportunities and production for those running backs, which I had none of them on my draft board. I didn't take any Giants running backs anywhere because I didn't trust it. But now I've seen it for a couple games now, and especially this last game. And if you had to choose, I don't know if it's a choose one or two or three thing. If I had to choose between Bucky Irving and Tracy, if it's just Tracy there and it's a full goal, I go Tracy over Bucky.
Tracy. Yeah.
But if it's 50-50 both ways, I want to lean Tracy, but the Singletary question mark is just too much for me. So the safer option, depending on how my game is going, I'd go Bucky, because those divisional games tend to be, like we saw with the Packers and Vikings, high scoring. Ravens and Bengals, high scoring. Falcons and Buccaneers, high. Like, I want pieces in that action if there are going to be a lot of points being scored.
Yep. So Andrew, you hear that? Like you said, I mean,
I know it's a lot. I'm sorry. I'll try to keep it down, but I want to give you all the information, what's going on through my head, and how I'm evaluating these talents and these people if I'm putting them in my lineup.
Heck yeah! Hey, Austin, thank you.
I really appreciate.
We are the best fantasy football channel on YouTube. And check out, Shady Sports. We got other sports as well. We got other fantasy football shows. I think we have a dynasty show, and then we have there's another redraft show as well on Shady Sports. So check us out, man. We got all types of football coverage, all types of sports in general. And something for you every day of the week, I promise you. So yeah, thank you for the support. Thank you for the like. Don't forget to share, you guys. Don't forget to share. It's super, super simple.
And it helps so much, though. Like,
so much.
And I appreciate all of it. Thank you.
Heck yeah, man. Hey, it's booming tonight. That's all I gotta say. I think we've been going live the whole time with questions and
we growing. I love it.
Yeah. We got Houdini. Welcome back, Houdini. Welcome back.
Yes, this guy. Yes. If you guys weren't here last week, this man has probably the best lineup I've ever seen since we started doing these shows, man. He's got depth for days.
And he got some players back from.
He could give Seth a run for the money if he gets into this fantasy league, man.
Hey, we'll see. We'll see how it goes, because this draft, man. Let me.
He's got your boy Laporta too.
His bench is Laporta, Kareem Hunt, Bucky Irvin, Braylon, Mostert, open spot. He has waiver number 2, and he's 3-2. So, are there any waiver wire targets he should be looking at, or does he just pick someone up after waivers? So, I mean, you're putting Laporta back in, right? Hunt's on bye.
You'll see with my team of the week with that Laporta take.
Yeah. So, and then, I mean, Braylon and Mostert, I'm kind of going away from Braylon right now.
It's
That's
just
just
because that
me.
Jets offense is in a funk. They just fired their head coach too, so we'll see
Yeah,
how that
so
offense
we're gonna
operates
get to
after
that,
that.
right? Like, I want to
Mhm.
touch on that. He was gonna
But what do you
find
think he
Nathaniel
should do? Should
Hackett.
he capitalize on his number two priority, or do you think he should wait until the waivers process, see where the dust clears and who's left, and just take him for free and
I would
keep that
definitely see
waiver
what running
priority?
backs you could get. If you could get like a Chase Brown or a Rico Dowdle, because I think
For me,
you're in a
Mhm.
8 or was it a 10 team league, Houdini? So
regardless of how big the league is,
mhm.
if they're available, here are my top 2 waiver wires you should be targeting if you want to spend your number 2 waiver priority this
There we
week.
go. Hot take, guys. Hot takes.
Rico Dowdle, he's taken over that backfield in Dallas. He's got a bunch of carries. He's shown he can run and run well. He did effectively against the Pittsburgh Steelers defense on the road in bad conditions. He seemed to be the guy. Zeke's becoming an afterthought in that offense. And they're going to be playing at home this weekend against the Detroit Lions. And it pains me to say it, but we saw what the Seahawks did against the Lions defense. They ran with Kenneth Walker all over the place. The dude got 3 touchdowns. He was piling up yards, and that's spicy looking. So I would say my top running back waiver wire ad is Rico Dowdle for that number 2 spot.
Sure.
It seems like you're pretty set on running backs, though, unless if you want to swap one of those guys out for Rico. That is your call. I'm not totally against it. I'm actually probably for it with the Mostert and the other guy. What is it? No, I reached. I think right. Okay. All right. Thanks for clearing that one up. And then my top wide receiver waiver wire, if you choose to use that number 2 waiver wire spot, the one I'm most confident in to use that number 2 priority on it would be Josh Downs. I just love that targets, the 12 targets, the 9 targets, 8 targets the last 3 weeks, 26 of the last 3 games. That's feasting. And if Flacco stays, the only variance there is if they put in Anthony Richardson over Flacco, because Flacco is giving Pittman life. He's feeding those receivers. They're throwing the ball more, and they're going to have to throw the ball more with Jonathan Taylor out. I mean, Trey Sermon's no slouch. He's doing all right. He's playing respectively, but Joe Flacco is showing he wants to throw the ball. He likes to throw the ball, and Josh Downs is able to do that deep break the coverage routes that he can capitalize on. I mean, Alec Pierce is stolen a color shine on deep balls, and Michael Pittman gets his, but there's enough feeding to go around that I think Josh Downs could be sustained. So if you want to use your number 2 waiver priority there, Houdini, I'd either go Rico Dowdle as a running back, or I'd go Josh Downs as a wide receiver. Otherwise, I fully support your decision. If you choose to wait for the dust to clear, you're not sold on any of these guys that are available in your league, let the dust settle, keep that waiver priority, and pick from whatever's left over. Because you have a deep enough team, you have the luxury to do that from what I've seen and what I've read here, is that if you were to choose to just wait, let the dust settle, you'd be just fine too.
Yeah, because you got a squad, man. I mean, what do you think about Darnell Mooney?
Yeah, I like what he's saying here, though. I think if the dust settles, he's still like to get him for free. That is a smash, well played move. If you don't want to spend that's the guy you want to go after. So you could potentially double down. You could use that Rico Dowdle as your number 2 waiver priority if you want to go that route, and then you could just take Downs for free if he's still there after that's all said and done. But you're in best case scenario, you have so many options in your favor that you can't go wrong. Oh, you dropped Rico? I did the same thing. I had Rico Dowdle, and I dropped him for somebody else. But this was earlier in the year, so I did that, and then now it's like, oh, man, I probably should scramble back and not do that.
Yeah, so he has no backup wide receiver. I'd be looking at Ray McLeod just in case.
Well, he already has Mooney in London.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, duh. So, maybe.
So if you're still worried about your wide receiver as Josh Downs because of the Flacco Anthony Richardson situation, one other one that I would suggest that would be a good sneaky ad would be. Oh wait, he's on a bye. I was gonna say Juju Smith-Schuster, but he's on a bye this week, so that probably doesn't help you at all.
Mhm.
Otherwise, I mean, if Tolbert's out there, that's another good option too. Dak is liking him, and he can get in the end zone. He can score points. I mean, I don't think Ray is an option for him, seeing as he already has London and Mooney. That's kind of muddling up the waters. I mean, I wouldn't advise starting 3 wide receivers on the same team. That might be a little too spicy for my taking, but to each their own.
Mhm. Yeah. That's a lot, especially Atlanta's 3 wide receivers. But I
Who do you
mean,
think? Who do you think?
David.
Who would you spend the number 2 waiver priority on if you had the
Well, I
opportunity?
mean, it just depends on who's available. I'm looking at my league and everybody's available for waiver. So I
Dang.
mean,
Then in your
I
situation, I would just wait for the dust to settle then, or maybe just,
yeah, if you have a lot of people available, just kind of
unless if
sit
you're
back
really
and look
slow,
and see.
like whenever I have like the top 3 waiver priority,
Mhm.
especially, unless if I'm really sold on the guy and I really like him, I wouldn't burn my waiver priority. Like if how you are in downs, kind of iffy on it. If you feel more comfortable, wait for the dust to settle. I wouldn't burn my
I
number
don't
2 waiver
know. I'd
priority on
probably
him.
still go for him if I got a chance. Just go ahead. I mean, especially at
Yeah,
this
yeah,
point. I mean,
that's fine
you
too. I'm
3
just
and
saying in
2,
his
you gotta
situation, it sounded
yeah.
like he's still iffy about Anthony Richardson coming back, which is fair because Richardson wasn't feeding any wide receiver other than Alec Pierce when he
Yeah,
was in the game. So
that's what I was saying earlier. So yeah, that makes a big difference. So honestly, I would probably because when they play on, let's see, let me pull
they
the
play at noon against the Titans.
on Sunday. So you have a couple days to see if they're
Mm-hmm.
what the practices look like because they're planning for Anthony Richardson to start if he's available. So I keep an eye
Oh,
on
that
that and
that was the plan. I didn't see
yeah,
any
well,
updates.
that's what I just saw. Yeah, it said that
Okay, okay.
he's a starter if he's healthy, and they were yeah. So that's the only
Breaking
update I see. I
news. They
didn't see any
said.
practice or anything today, so I don't know
Mm-hmm.
about but so I'd just keep an eye on that, and that could probably yeah. So I guess just wait till the dust settles and kind of see how the
Mm-hmm.
week goes. You may stick with what you have or go a different route. Um, but I mean, I'd be interested to follow up and see on Sunday. Let us know, Houdini, who
Yeah,
you
that'd be
went
fun.
and we'll obviously look into it and see how it turned out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I
guys,
think
keep
you
it
want to stay
coming.
up to date with it too. Keep in touch with
Yeah,
us on the Facebook group.
yeah. Don't forget to hit those likes, get those shares, push it out, guys. You know, each one, help us grow. Each one teach one, I guess they say.
Mm-hmm.
Together we grow. So yeah, we do this all for the love of fantasy football, right? Like, don't forget to hit that like button. Don't forget to hit that share button, and check out the other videos on Shady Sports Network. As
Mm-hmm.
we said, we got the Dynasty League, we got the other Redraft League show, a wrestling show, a couple other football shows in the NFL, a couple alt leagues, arena football, CFL. I think we have something for everything. We have the big 3 basketball league. So
Every flavor for everybody.
flavor for everyone. I guarantee you there's something you'd like on there. So,
Mm-hmm.
and then you head over to the network, www.shadysportsnetwork.com, www.shadysportsnetwork.com, and you can check out articles, check out the lineup, the schedule, everything you need to know about Shady Sports. We've been going strong for the past 4 years, and we just keep growing. So we only grow with you guys, and we love you guys for tuning in. So don't forget to hit that like button, hit that share button. And if you haven't already, check out the Sleeper app. You can hop over there. And me and Justin are both on
Yep.
that Sleeper app. All the time. They got amazing,
You can find me
amazing
on there and send me
information.
questions my way. I'm more than happy to add you and answer any of your questions. But you know
There
what
we
I'd like to
go.
hear from right now, Sid?
What was that?
Tell me about your Broncos. What's
Oh
good in the
man.
neighborhood?
Well, we're gonna get
Not
to it.
just
It's just
yeah. Yep.
we are blowing, bro. But yeah, let's talk about the Broncos though. I think we got
Right
some
after
time. We'll get to
Sebastian,
you
let's give
guys.
him. Let's
Um,
give him.
well,
Let's help this guy out.
well, let's see. So Sebastian wants to know: would you guys trade Brian Robinson Jr. for Brian Robinson Jr., Calvin Ridley, and Evan Ingram for McBride and Najee? Is Evan
I would do it.
Ingram so
I
hurt?
mean, I think in this trade, the Ridley and the Ingram packaged together work good for value for McBride, and then Brian Robinson Jr. for Najee Harris. I mean, depending on your running back situation, if you're comfortable, that Commanders offense is cooking right now. And I think Brian Robinson Jr. had a big game again with multi touchdowns. So, I mean, I
he
think,
was.
and now that I actually look at it a little bit deeper, I mean, Najee hasn't really broken out in the sense of like a Brian Robinson Jr. yet. And McBride's been pretty inconsistent, where I think I would actually, as down as Ridley has been, he has been kind of like less than flex value and not really performing up to standards. But that Tennessee offense is still in a funk and a goof, and they haven't really figured themselves out. But I think I would hold just because of how valuable Brian Robinson has been. He's really separated himself in the backfield against Eckler. I mean, Eckler's still getting fed in the passing game, but Brian Robinson's proven to be the workhorse there. I mean, and he's shown production of what he's getting, whereas Najee just really isn't. I mean, Shawnee would probably have a more extensive take on it than I do because I'm not the Steelers guy here, but I think with the inconsistency of McBride and Najee, I would hold, because when Ingram comes back, Lawrence is one of his favorite targets in a security blanket. So I would hold on that trade.
Yeah.
If you could. But if you go through with it, I'm not mad at all. I mean, if you get the guys you believe in, McBride should have like a mid to late season surge once Kyler finds him the ball more and McBride's fully healed. And at some point, they got to unleash Najee and just let him run and cook and take the pressure off of Justin Fields there, because that offense is struggling having to throw the ball on third downs instead of not getting in third and shorts because they're running well.
Yeah, I mean, just because I like B-Rob, I'm probably just sticking. I'm holding on to him, maybe even,
And I have him in a few leagues.
Yeah. I mean, McBride's beast, but it's still at Cardinals offense is a little too inconsistent to be trading away. And I get he has Mixon and Dobbins and Chubb, who's on IR. Mixon's on IR, and Dobbins is, I don't even know what's up with Dobbins. But and we'll probably talk about
he
that
just
here.
Had he played, I think he played the Steelers defense before his bye week, or no, they played the Chiefs. He just had two compared to his first 2 weeks, it was more of like middle of the road to lesser production than we're used to seeing. So
he was very limited against the Chiefs. So we'll see which one we get. Yeah, I'd probably stick with B-Rob. Honestly, just because like you said, that Commanders offense is rolling right now. And if you can grab anyone from that offense, you probably should. They're all on the trend upwards.
Commanders played Baltimore this weekend, so that game should be high-scoring shootout.
Super high-scoring shootout. It's gonna be a fun game for sure. Yeah. So, all right. So, yeah. I mean, you want to talk about this Broncos Chargers? Well,
I'd like to hear about it. Fill me in. Keep me up to date with what's good in the neighborhood.
There's gonna be a whole lot of this, a whole lot of that, a lot of fireworks. Right? We're gonna come out and try to match their running prowess. Hopefully we can run as well as the Chargers do. Looks like it's gonna be in Denver.
Good question.
Yeah.
It looks like
here in Denver. So it looks like the weather should be pretty nice. Oh, where we go?
You got that defense. They're going.
That defense, man, it's been a top 5 defense.
Broncos defense. The Chargers are probably going to have a hard time throwing the ball. Herbert's going to be a little bit scared coming out of there.
Well, he's getting Ladd McConkey back. He has, that's his top dog. So we'll see.
And Quentin Johnson's still there. He's respectable.
He's still there, but he hasn't really done a whole lot.
Who gets the shadow from PS2?
Ooh, that's gonna be a good one. Probably be Ladd McConkey.
Ladd gets PS2 and Moss goes to Huge.
Yeah. Or I don't think anybody will get the shadow. I think probably PS2 will probably just stick his side or something this week.
Yeah, he'll just run his area of the field.
Yeah, there's no need for him to be running.
I think the Chargers are gonna have a hell of a time trying to throw the ball.
Yeah, it's going to be, especially, so we'll see how their line's holding up over there on their end. Herbert's coming back from injury and stuff himself. So
they had 2 weeks to prepare the game and get healthy. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Exactly, but I mean Javonte is trending upwards right now. He's looking like
Oh, you're believing? Okay.
so he's finally running like something's lit up under him, and then in return McLaughlin's having his runs go off too because that's that thunder and lightning.
Between the two of them, do you think it'll be more of a McLaughlin game or a Javonte game?
I think it's still gonna be more. They're gonna push Javonte. They really want
Okay.
to. I think they really want to see what they have in Javonte. It's a very pivotal moment, especially when they have
It's a divisional game. It's technically worth 2 games because if you get a win, it gives you a leg up.
We just beat the Raiders, so if we can beat the Chargers, that I think that'll go kind of a long way in our season. And then, we got the Chiefs coming up in week 10. So we got to tune up before we play the Chiefs. A few games to tune up before.
Hey, Bo Nix is getting hot at the right time. You want to get him cooking before he plays the Chiefs because he's going to have to bring his A game for week 10.
3 in a row, man. 3 in a row.
They're going to make it 4. You're believing in them? They got this game?
I believe.
Oh,
it's
no
gonna be
doubt
a good
about
one.
it.
It's gonna be a good one. So yeah, that's what I got in the Broncos
4 in a row.
now. We'll come back to it a little later. And we'll touch on that Lions game too.
Okay.
But we got in the comment section we got Nero and Sebastian. Thanks for shouting out, man. Don't forget that.
Thanks, Sebastian. We loved your question. Hope it helped you out.
Yes, hopefully we helped you out. Like we said, hold on to B-Rob. I mean, no matter what else you do, hold on to B-Rob. That's my thoughts. So yeah.
Nero, tell us what's good.
Nero Raythod. What a name.
Yeah, I like it. That's cool.
Yeah, I think that's the cool thing about like YouTube is you see all these names and like they're all.
Well, you did a good job pronouncing it. I hope it's correct.
I hope it's correct. Yeah. Hey, come on here live.
No disrespect at all if you didn't.
At all. No disrespect. But in that
PPR league.
Their halfback, Saquon, DeAndre, James Cook, Kareem Hunt, Jordan Mason. And then the wide receivers are Scary Terry.
Yeah.
Whose names?
Neighbors, maybe?
Neighbors?
Maybe? Maybe it was an autocorrect?
Let us know who names is.
I hope it's Neighbors. That'd be cool. McLaurin and Neighbors.
Names, Garrett Wilson, Jameson Williams. Question: should he trade James Cook and Garrett Wilson for CeeDee Lamb and J.K. Dobbins?
Ooh, that's a spicy one.
Trying to get CeeDee? Because I feel like that's what it is, right? You're always trying to get a player, right? You're not trying to get J.K. Dobbins at this moment, but
it looks like he's trying to upgrade his wide receiver room and get CeeDee Lamb and J.K. Dobbins would be a supplement to losing out when he's sending Cook. So
yeah, but who's buying these Jets players right now, right?
I did.
I don't know.
But I'm also in the position that I'm in, so take that for what it's worth. For me, so I take between Cook and Dobbins. We know that the Chargers offense is a run-centric offense. They're going to run the ball, and they're going to get volume and opportunities, and that's where Cook is struggling is he's not getting the opportunities and the volume in the Bills offense because Josh Allen is just taking over. He's doing what he wants in that offense, and some people are getting sacrificed like Kincaid and Cook some games and Coleman other games. It's just that offense operates by how Josh Allen goes and where he goes that game. So because you saw the highs of the 3 touchdown big performance on that Thursday night game, and then you've seen the lows as of lately, the sub 20 points and kind of the middle of the road performances. But overall, I think James Cook is a better running back and a better value than J.K. Dobbins. So then it comes down over here to Garrett Wilson and CeeDee Lamb. And I'll keep my bias aside. CeeDee Lamb is in the better offense right now. He has the better opportunities for a higher ceiling. With the turmoil that the Jets offense is going for, it'd be definitely an upgrade at this time going for CeeDee Lamb to upgrade. And I think with the down offense of Garrett Wilson and how he just had a big game too, so that boosts his value right now. I think the combination of Cooks and Wilson, the time you're doing it, is a pretty balanced trade for CeeDee alone, and getting J.K. Dobbins in the deal, it helps out for having a running back you're getting back in return. So if you can do that deal, I would say go for it in your situation with the context of the players you have. You've got secure depth, and you've also got some good ceiling players to help you out in your weeks in case of, J.K. Dobbins has a down week, or CeeDee Lamb's bye week is coming up week 7, so you got to be aware of that. So after this week, he'll be on bye, so you won't be able to use him. But my assessment is definitely I'd go for the deal.
Okay.
What do you think?
And it looks like he just really wants CeeDee Lamb. So I mean, if that's your goal, then go for it. Like,
because if he's adding J.K. Dobbins into the deal to even it out, that's even better in your favor. But even if you want to go CeeDee Lamb for your Garrett Wilson and James Cook, I'm not opposed to that. You're getting a top 3 wide receiver for a top 8 wide receiver and a top 10 running back. So the value is even out, in my opinion. I mean, personally, I'm still a believer and a fan of Garrett Wilson. I enjoy him where I have him, and I like him. I hope for, better outcome, but the reality of the situation now is there's a lot of question marks with a new coach, potentially a new offense coming in, and that could be good or that could be bad. And as long as Aaron Rodgers stays happy and productive, Garrett Wilson will stay productive and relatively happy. So if you're really into the player, go for CeeDee Lamb. Do what you got to do to get that deal done.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think, if you're really into CD, just go for it and get that deal done. But if that's your, and
because he's got good depth behind him at the wide receiver room.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So especially like with Scary Terry,
I like that.
Williams, those are your starters, right?
Because you have CeeDee Lamb as your wide receiver 1, Terry McLaurin as your wide receiver 2, and then you'd be flexing Jameson Williams.
Yeah, perfect. You're good to go. So do it. Hit that trade button right now. Let's go ahead
or send it if you want to send it. But if you already received the offer, I would hit accept.
Hit us up and clap yourself in the back.
Especially hitting buttons. We gotta tell these guys to smash like and subscribe.
Yeah, you know how it goes.
That would really help us out. We'd appreciate that.
Mm-hmm. Don't forget to share too.
Yes.
Let's see. We got Kool-Aid Gang. We got Kool-Aid Gang.
Yeah, the
Kool-Aid King.
Kool-Aid King. Let me know what your favorite flavor of Kool-Aid is.
Kool-Aid King, I have all 3 of 49ers wide receivers. Should I drop one for more diversity or keep in case of another injury? I mean, I'm kind of good off wide receiver from the 49ers right now. And my personal opinion,
you stayed away from that wide receiver room. You trading for that room straight away. What are you feeling?
I just feel like you're not getting. I tried to play Juwan Jennings last week. I didn't get any. What are you going to do? Chase them around? Are you playing them all 3? Well, if you're playing them all 3, then you're getting some points for sure. Mm-hmm. Like one of them's going off.
But Juwan Jennings has had big games. Debo's had big games. Mm-hmm. Brandon Ayuk just had a big game. So it's kind of like rolling the dice. It's really like a casino moment there where one of them's more likely to pop off than the other 2. But I'm going to lean with agreeing with Houdini here too. Is try to trade for him before dropping any of them. I know Ricky Pearsall is coming back too, so he'll be added to that wide receiver room soon. Probably not this week or next week. Probably by week 8 or 9, he should be in the rotation, which will impact the values of the whole wide receiver room as a whole. It'll boost Brock Purdy's value because he'll have another target to throw to. So if you can, I would try to package a 2-for-1 deal if you can for someone, or
it's a 14-team league. I would probably
diversify it up.
It's a 14-man
leagues are pretty hard because it's thinned out in the waivers, and it's really thinned out what's available because a lot of rosters are filled. Those are good wide receivers to have. Trey Tucker will probably be on an uptick if Devontae Adams ends up leaving, so that's a good room. Barkley, Henry Eckler,
how did you get this team
those running backs?
14-man league? How'd you get like these people, man? Come draft for me.
They're harder. It takes a little bit more attention to detail in the larger leagues. Yeah, you should. I would agree with Houdini again here. Just try to trade for like whichever one you feel you can get the most value of, or the one that you're more willing to part ways with it.
Mm-hmm.
The way I see that wide receiver room right now, I like Debo, then Ayuk, and then when Pearsall comes back, and then Jennings after that. Cowing's hurt, but he's more of a lower round rookie that isn't going to be relevant in the offense once Pearsall is back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then that's the thing. It's just a case of like with the Eagles, just so many cheats.
A lot of mouths to feed.
A lot of mouths to feed. In particular, just in the wide receiver room alone. So and then if CMC happens to come back at some point, that's going to change a lot of stuff too. So,
or even Jordan Mason takes a step back and starts slowing down. Brock Purdy will have to throw the ball more, so that gives more opportunity for volume, which gives you more opportunity for points.
Yep. Very, very true. So, and you've been seeing it, Jordan Mason.
Which I think, just a little preview for the Thursday night game, I think the Niners are going to have to change up their offense and lean away from the run, and they're going to have to be throwing the ball more against Seattle. I think Seattle knows how to put up points and knows how to score. They showed it against Detroit. They gave it the best effort against the Giants. And I think they're going to come out mad and angry losing that Giants team at home, and they're going to give the Niners the best punch, and Brock Purdy better be ready to light up that arm and throw the ball around the place, because I think the Seattle defense is going to focus on shutting down Jordan Mason, putting the ball in Purdy's hand to win that game.
Yeah, so and that's not bad having it in Purdy's hand. It's not the worst.
It's not bad. So that helps the case for your San Fran wide receiver room.
Having all of them, I just don't know if I would play them. That's a lot. But yeah, I would hold on to him though. Your team's stacked. Moving on, we got Bocce.
Ooh, hey, good guys, question.
Right? Thanks for tuning
I like
in.
the question, Bocce. This is a tough one. Would you think,
Would you trade Devonta Smith for J.K. Dobbins or BTJ? Brian Thomas Jr., who's been going off, that Jacksonville offense who's been trending upwards. But
he's had a couple big games lately. The Jags passing game is starting to pick up a little bit. It's starting to get rolling.
I probably would, just because of that fact.
And then J.K. Dobbins will get the volume there. He's kind of usurped Gus Edwards in the running back one role. He's going to get 15 to 20 carries a game. He's going to get his opportunity. It might not be all the time big pop off home run hits, but he might get steady 2 to 3 yards per carry, about 50 yards, and hopefully a touchdown. So you have the floor with Dobbins, you have the ceiling with Brian Thomas Jr. That's a good blend of players to have there. With Devonta Smith, if you're not confident he's fully recovered back from that concussion he sustained, he didn't get fully healed out of the bye, and if you don't believe in that Hurts is fully capable of feeding him in the offense as well, with Dallas Goedert, Saquon Barkley, and A.J. Brown, all three of those guys ask for targets and they get passes from Hurts. So Devonta Smith some games is going to be the odd man out, not the feature in the offense. But we've also seen a boom with Devonta Smith in some games. He's able to carry a little wide receiver one role and get production of yards and receptions. So you're taking a little bit more of a risk sending Devonta Smith. But in my opinion, I would go for this deal because there's a little bit more question marks to be had with the Devonta Smith side. You have that name value, have that production in the past, but coming off of injury, coming out of the bye week, you don't know if it might be a slow start either. It's depending on where you're feeling and where you have him established in your wide receiver room. And getting a running back and a wide receiver in return, you're taking care of two positions with one stone. You're just sacrificing probably the obvious higher tier wide receiver between the two. But even in redraft, I'm doing this deal. In Dynasty, I'm probably still doing this deal as well.
Okay.
How do you feel about it, Sed? What?
Yeah, I'm probably doing it for.
Are you more concerned about Jalen Hurts and getting him the ball? Or are you concerned with Devonta Smith and his production so far this year?
Well, I probably have Devonta as my second or third wide receiver, probably even fourth wide receiver. So, I'd be looking at
compared to where you're starting. Brian Thomas Jr. is probably your third,
probably your second or third, probably second. Right now for this week. J.K. Dobbins, it depends on what your running back.
He's kind of like the balancing piece there. So, if you feel Devonta's up here and Brian Thomas is here, by adding Dobbins, it kind of evens it out a little bit.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
I think he was saying one or the other, though. I think he was saying J.K. Dobbins or BTJ.
Or BTJ. Oh,
yeah,
sorry.
So that changes it, right?
I would definitely do it for BTJ over J.K. Dobbins.
Yeah, I would for sure do it and feel good about that. All right, we got Freezy Fantasy. Hey guys, keep it coming, man. We are popping right now. We still got to get
with your question.
Yeah, we still got to get to your teams of the week and your IDP players of the week too, Justin. So I don't think that we'll
get there quick. Let's help out Freezy here. What do you think,
so
Sed?
We got Freezy. DK and Dobbins for Brees? No. I mean, if you're getting them, yes. I'm not. I'm down on the Jets right now. That's me.
Really?
I'm selling Jets players. I'm
This is
selling
like
them. Getting rid of them.
This is like dangling a Twinkie on a string for me, man. Like Brees Hall, like I know the offense is down and the situation is dire right now, but look at the talent with Brees Hall. He's far and away better than J.K. Dobbins.
No.
You think J.K. Dobbins is better than Brees Hall?
No, but in his situation, Dobbins is looking a bit better right now.
Okay, that's fair. Hall. That's true. So I'm going under the context that this is redraft and not dynasty. So for redraft, I mean, oh man. Like where I'm at in my league, sitting at like 1-4 and 2-3 or 0-5. I'm more leaning to take the home run swing, and I'm going for it because I've seen monster production out of Brees Hall, and like even like Dobbins has had those big games, but Brees Hall is even a more of a monster game, and like with DK, it's one of those situations too. Is he goes as Geno goes, and if Geno's throwing it to Lockett or JSN or Fant or running the ball more with Kenneth Walker and Charbonnet, but he also has the ability to go off and be a productive, high-scoring, high-volume wide receiver. And if we're going off just my preferences, my bias, I would do the deal because I like Brees Hall that much. But if you're going outside of that context, looking at logically where you're at with your team, I think you're giving up still a little too much value at this point of the season for Brees because of where we've seen the Jets offense to this point. And he hasn't been really the focal point yet. He hasn't been the workhorse. He's been splitting carries with Braylon Allen. He's having a harder time hitting the holes, getting to the edge, and being a productive addition to Rodgers in that offense. I mean, I'm a big believer in Brees and Garrett Wilson, so I'm a little bit, diverted in this analysis in this trade. But taking that out of the equation, like looking at it objectively, I feel you have way too much. Not way too much. You have enough of a value lopsidedness there that I'd probably ask for maybe a wide receiver 3 or possibly a tight end to add to that side of the deal for Brees Hall, just so you get a little bit more back to help you out in case if Brees Hall continues this downward trajectory. Because the reality is he is splitting carries with Braylon and the offense isn't flowing. So how do you feel? Is that reasonable to ask for in return to get this deal done?
Yeah, because it really is. He's trying to, because you're getting rid of DK. I mean, you're not really losing, I guess, a lot with Dobbins for Brees, right?
Yeah, so it's mostly because it's DK for Brees, and then he's adding Dobbins for that little edge. But at the same time, I feel like if there's room, I don't know. Big part of how I said on Sunday's show, communication and negotiating with the trade part to be like, hey, I like this deal. I like Brees, but I'm also concerned about his production so far and the potential volume loss with Braylon Allen in the picture. Is there any way you could add a piece in there to get the values balanced out, like maybe a tight end or one of your wide receiver 3s or potential flex, just so I have a little bit more security on my end of it to balance it out?
Right.
So I hope that answered your question, Freezy. I mean,
we'll
I know I gave you all kinds of perspectives there, but for me, I do the deal. But at the same time, I'm with Seth is asking a little bit more in return to get this deal done if you're really into it like I am with Brees.
And hey, guys, we're going to cut away real quick. We'll come back. We got some more questions we'll get to. When we come back, and then we'll get to Justin's team of the week, IDP player of the week, and then keep it going. We'll do this for another 20 minutes or so.
However you want to do it, man. You got me. I ate this time, so I'm not hungry.
I'm good for another 20 minutes, and then we'll get it going. Good. We'll come back and finish up on Sunday. Sunday night, 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, guys. Same place.
Join us. We love you.
the Mountain Standard Time. So let me cut away real quick. We'll get this out and then keep it going.
How are you?
Bring them things, bring them things. I call the plug, bring them things. I bring them things.
That's money. That's cash out.
Forever you and me, right by my side, where you ought to be. Cause if I ever were to lose you, I just don't know what I'd do. Let me hear you now.
Yeah, guys. Hey, man, keep those questions going. Keep these comments going. These trade questions. Hey, I love it, man. It's been constant engagement all night. That's how I want it every episode. So, guys,
Look at that big smile you put on Ced's face. Let's keep it coming. Let's just smile.
Right?
Happy times,
Exactly.
Good flows,
It's so
good
much
vibes.
fun to talk about it, and that's the goal here, right? We have, we got the man Justin here. Hopefully, we'll get Shawnee back in here on Sunday, and we'll just have. I'm telling you, we're bringing you the facts. We're bringing you some knowledge, guys. So, we're just trying to help you get your team together and keep it together throughout this season. I mean, it's a long season. It's still a long season. I think we got 12 more weeks left. But we're getting there. We're getting there. So
12 more chances for me to get that dub.
Hey,
12 more chances for you to get that dub.
Fantasy wise, we got
like 10 or 11
more weeks.
Yeah,
9 more weeks, something like that. But we're getting there. So it's time to make those trades. It's time to hit that waiver wire hard. We got Mr. Wumbo on a PPR. We're pairing Ayuk and Bowers together for a 2-for-1 trade. How high do you think I could feasibly go for a wide receiver? And I would say I don't think there's a wide receiver high enough for you to get right now. I mean, I do. Who is that?
CeeDee Lamb.
Okay.
If I'm doing a redraft league, I would definitely pair these two to try to get a CeeDee Lamb or an AJ Brown off of the injury, or Nico Collins on injury, because we know when he comes back, he's that main guy over there in Houston. Also, a couple more good ones would be Ayuk and Bowers for a Jaden Reed, possibly an Ayuk and Bowers for Malik Neighbors coming off of his injury, because they don't. In New York, Danny Dimes is able to throw that ball now, and he is able to feed and sustain Neighbors, Slayton, and Wan'Dale Robinson in that offense. So I think in the first round wide receivers, out of those ones, I think you could get AJ Brown. Definitely you could get Garrett Wilson, but if you're not feeling the Jets offense and whatnot, don't go after him. Other wide receivers in the first round you could get maybe no, actually I don't think you get Justin Jefferson. I think people are still really high and he's retained his value. So like a CeeDee Lamb, AJ Brown be good targets for first round receivers to upgrade and tier up on. Second round wide receivers from the draft that you could probably pair these two up to get a 2-for-1 would be, I'd go Nico Collins. I'd go, what's another good one? Malik Neighbors would be a good one. Well, before Rashee Rice got hurt, that would have been a good one to target. That's about it that I can think of off the top of my head, but I'm sure if I see the names in front of my head that I could give you a better picture of it.
I like that though. I like Malik.
So to start off, would you do Ayuk and Bowers for AJ Brown?
Ayuk.
This is just redraft. Yes. We'll just do redraft for the sake of redraft.
Well, it depends on who my other tight end is. But if he's looking to get rid of him, then it doesn't matter who it's.
Well, because we know how the tight end landscape is right now, and like people are keeping them kind of close to the vest and more, valuable to them, and like that warrants tiering up with wide receiver if you're giving up a tight end like Bowers. So you're able to ask for like a CeeDee Lamb or a Jaden Reed or a Malik Neighbor. Would you do Ayuk and Bowers for Drake London off the big game he just came off of?
That's
Would that
a
be too
hard
spicy
one.
for you? I know your feelings on Drake London, but he
I
cooked.
just feel like Bowers is cooking too, man. That's
Okay.
a hard one. But if you're not using Bowers, then yeah,
And
I'm not high up on Ayuk like that.
Yeah, I'm not a Bears
I would
fan
agree.
here, but I think you could get
Mhm.
this one done.
Mhm.
DJ Moore for Ayuk and Bowers.
Yeah.
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 How about
Yeah.
Stephon Diggs for Ayuk and Bowers now with the Nico Collins
Yep.
injury into the
Yep.
effect? Okay.
So I
you
guess
got
there are a few. Yeah.
Yeah. How
I
about
guess so.
Mike Evans?
That's a hard one.
That's a hard one. Okay.
Ooh,
I'll do
that's
one more for you to keep, so we can keep this rolling around.
yeah.
Oh, I already said AJ. No, yeah, we already said AJ Brown. So
Well, that's fine. Here, so we got Austin. Yes, it's the Raiders team, and I felt like that would be a good time to step over
here we
into
go. Here we go.
your
You want to
team
rate his
of
team
the
first?
week. Well, let's look at your team of the
Okay,
week
okay.
first.
So by no means with my team of the week, this is not players on my teams and leagues. These are just solely players that I picked that I believe in with their matchups they're going up against, the situations they have, just the productions they put and the performances, and I compile it up together. And this is close to a more realistic for like what you could possibly be building. Like no super teams here, no uber teams, but no obviously scrubs like big team leagues or whatever. This is just like it averaged out what I think is like the best value team you could possibly build from week to week. So with this bit that we have of my team of the week, it's like if you compiled it like with the draft and whatnot, what team you could have possibly came up with and built here.
Yep.
So you could go through it position by position. Let me know what you think, Seth and
Yeah, so we got your QB starting off. We got Lamar Jackson versus the Commanders. I mean, we saw what just happened with Lamar Jackson versus the Bengals, right? Let's just hope none of the Commanders fans, piss off Lamar before the game.
No, this is fully endorsing the Commanders. I feel like that offense is going to be humming. It's going to be like the Bengals-Ravens game 2.0. Lamar's going to have to throw the ball. He's going to have to put points on the board. He's going to have to scramble because that defense has stepped up. And on the other side, Jaden Daniels is going to put points on the board, which is going to force the Ravens to keep up and get another track meet. And I feel like Lamar Jackson could have another big boom week from that.
So, yeah, I think I'm with you there. I mean, Lamar Jackson is always a must start in my book if he's not hurt, right? So,
yeah, he's a top 12 quarterback right now, probably top 10. I just was feeling the vibes of last week and how well he did, and like looking at the Commanders' offense, and I'm like, I feel it'd be less of a Derrick Henry game and more of a Lamar Jackson game this time around.
Yeah, he's the number one ranked quarterback in my league.
Oh, well, I stand corrected that I didn't pay attention to the rankings. I was just going off of like my eye test and my vibes and how the performances have led up to this point.
Yeah, no, I think, pretty on point with that. Let's see his overall points for the season. So his game log, let's look at this. So far this season, his position rank actually, I guess in PPR overall, yeah, he's number one right now. He has 125.54 fantasy points, and half point PPR is number one. 150 attempts, 98 completions, 1,200 yards, 9 touchdowns, 53 rushing yard attempts on rushing, and 363 rushing yards with 2 tutties. So yeah, he's killing it right now. I think that's definitely a great choice. If you can get him, or if you have him, or if you can trade for him, do it. For sure.
Keep starting him if you're starting him. Keep firing him out there.
Yep. Then we got your running back, Bijan Robinson versus the Panthers. Number 18 running back, number 63 overall. Why
Context behind this is this was probably your first round pick, and we just saw what the Chicago Bears were able to do against the Panthers at home. They ran it all over them with DeAndre Swift, pounded it on the goal line with Roschon Johnson, and at some point, I mean, I don't think the Falcons are going to have Kirk Cousins keep throwing for 500 yards and 50 times or however many he did. At some point, you got to feature Bijan. You got to feed him, get him in a rhythm, get the tempo going. And I'm optimistic. I'm hopeful here that they can just take a step back. They won't have to throw up so many points against the Panthers because they got punched back to earth by the Bears last week and kind of, come to the reality of their situation. I think that'll lend to opportunity for Bijan Robinson to get, some production up, some like 12 to 20 points this week instead of like 8 to 15. As long as, they don't play this game of throwing an Algier in there, just give Bijan the ball. And what a perfect time to do it than against the Panthers.
They just do not want to know how to use Bijan right over there. That's my opinion. That's
I'm hopeful. I mean, realistically, I don't know, but I'm hopeful. And if trends translate to it, I think they should be running the ball against the Panthers.
Yeah, so I mean, Bijan, second year in the league, he was number 9, ended up number 9 last year with 255 points overall, and that was number 9 in running back. So this year he's number 18 so far in PPR, 21.5 point PPR, and with 67.6 points so far in PPR, and through 5 games. So I mean, 285 yards, 1 touchdown. Like I said, they're just not using him, but he does have 19 targets, 151 receiving yards. And I think that'll pick up a little bit more. And then we saw a little bit of that last week too. So they're playing the Panthers, like you said earlier. I mean, I think it's a good pick based on opponent. You know what I mean? Like he's due to go off. So I feel good about that. I mean, I wouldn't say I feel good, but I mean, like you said, you drafted him, so
you're feeling a little bit safer with him this week than instead of him going up against like a Chiefs or like a Broncos defense or a Steelers defense, like one of those top tier defenses.
Yep.
And the Panthers defense is hurt right now. They lost a couple players last week to injury and looking like they're not coming back. So could be some opportunities to break one for them.
Yeah. So then, moving on, we got your running back 2, who I would put as my running back 1. I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter. It's not like it changes it.
I would just, like I said, ADP draft, where you could have got him. You took Bijan as your first running back and then came down.
Yeah.
James Cook later on.
So, and I mean, James Cook is rocking right now, even in that Bills offense. I think he kind of had an explosion last week, kind of helped them. But
this is my Monday night miracle pick here, too, against the Jets on Monday night. Looking for, that win, catch that dub. You're down by a couple points. You're down by a dozen or so points. I'm confident up this week for James Cook against the Jets with their situation to just save your week, get you that W, secure it up, lock it up. I don't think Josh Allen's going to have to play necessarily hero ball or spread the ball around. I think they'll want to control. It's a divisional game. They want to control the clock, control the possession, lean on that run game, limit Allen's opportunities throwing and risk of getting hurt against that aggressive Jets defense. So I feel like he's a good slot there with your second running back if you got him.
Yep. So James Cook, he's number 5 in PPR with 84.2 points through 5 games. And that's 70 attempts, 309 yards, 4 touchdowns. And then, of course, he has 1 receiving touchdown, 123 receiving yards on 13 targets. So he gets a good amount of targets too. But I think, there was that big explosion last week. But hey, like that's what you want to see though, because I see, like you said, you put him at 2 because of where you would have drafted him at. So James Cook probably would have been, like a little bit later, rounds 3, rounds 4, in your draft, depending on how big or how what size your league was. So I'd probably have him as my running back 1 right now. But and then again, same thing with this guy too. He's the wide receiver, Terry McLaurin versus the Ravens. So kind of same thing. Like you're seeing an explosion right now. So whereas maybe wasn't so much so in the beginning, but I think you are looking at Terry. If you're looking at for a good receiver right now and some consistency, I think that's a good place to look.
Yeah, I think his combination with Daniels is growing and getting better and getting more comfortable. And kind of the flip side of Lamar Jackson and my quarterback spot is like Daniels will have to respond and answer, and he'll have to throw the ball to keep up scoring points that the Ravens put up. And Terry McLaurin should be the benefactor of all that against that Ravens secondary. Joe Burrow just lit him up for 300 yards and 5 touchdowns. So there's definitely opportunity, potential here for Terry to, be respectable numbers this week and warrant you slotting him in your wide receiver spot.
Yeah, and Scary Terry. He's ranked number 24 in wide receivers with 67.5 points so far. So not really nothing serious, but you are starting to see that. You are seeing that trend upwards, and that's somebody you can probably get low. Well, right now he's probably spicy, but you could probably still get him pretty low. So that's a good one. And then same thing with this guy too, T. Higgins. He's coming back. He's finally out there. We saw him go off last week with 87 yards, 2 tutties. Even with Jamar Chase going off, he still got his. So
and I got him here in my wide receiver 2 spot too, because Giants are going to have to pick somebody to defend and shadow against, and I think that'll be Jamar Chase, which will give T. Higgins the red zone opportunities and the over the field opportunities for a big shot, and also just volume. If they're going to double Chase or whatnot, it gives him more opportunity to eat in that offense, and he was able to do it last week against the Ravens. And I think Joe Burrow is capable of feeding multiple people in that offense, and this week I think it's a Higgins game. That's how I see it going.
Yep, there we go. Now moving on to your flex, this is my I like a lot. I like these Giants players, man. They're receivers. So Wan'Dale Robinson versus the Bengals.
It's the same game, Sunday night game. So my idea here is your flex. What I'm looking for in my flex spot is targets and receptions and like a safe floor. And I feel Neighbors will get the double coverage when he's back, which he should be back for this game. And kind of like T. Higgins, where he's going to benefit off that. And Daniel Jones has shown that these last couple of games that he's still able to get Robinson involved. He had a touchdown last game, and the game before that he had double-digit receptions. So I think, again, they're going to have to keep up and score points with the Bengals, and Wan'Dale is going to be a benefactor with the – I still think Chase and Neighbors are going to have good games, don't get me wrong, but being able to probably have picked up Wan'Dale off the waiver wire for cheap or for, your priority last week, flex him in there for bye weeks, and then keeping him in there in your flex spot this week, I'm confident with doing. Like I'd be happy to have him in my flex spot this week. All these players I have in my lineup so far, players that I'm also looking to trade for and to get in trades and pursue because I like their potential going forward rest of the season, but especially these week of games ahead of us right now to get you the win this week.
Wan'Dale Robinson is number 19 wide receiver.
Oh, wow. He's top 20?
68 points. He's a top 20 wide receiver through
5
games. He does have those 2 tutties. Like you said, the one this week, the one week before. But I mean, his point total. So man, this guy's been going off. 16 last week, 18 the week before that, 13 the week before that, 9 in week 2, 11.8 in week 1. So if I can
get 9 to 15 points in my flex spot, I'm happy.
Flex spot consistently, let's go. I'm good with that. And then moving on, got your tight end, La Porta, my boy. I got this dude in like almost every draft in the same spot.
I was thinking of you with this pick here, and I was finally ready to drop a Lions player in my lineup, and I feel that the attention will go Amon-Ra's way. They don't want to give up the big play to Jamison Williams, so who's going to eat over the middle of the field, of the backfield, and on those short intermediate routes? I feel like having the bye week, resting up, getting healthy, having multiple weeks to prepare for this game. Jared Goff, perfect last week. He's going to keep his vibes going, keep his flow going, and he's going to rely on Sam Laporta as a security blanket to keep moving those chains, keep the drives going, and hopefully putting up points in the red zone for you. So Travis Kelce has a bye this week. Kobe Parkinson has a bye this week. There's multiple tight end injuries, so I'm comfortable if you got Sam Laporta coming off the bye week, putting them in your lineup, letting them ride you out in that tight end position, and you should have a good week with him there.
Yeah, no, for sure. I'm confident because they have to, right? He better, right? No, I mean, and they've proven they can do it before. He was number 1 tight end last season, 252 points. Even missing a slew of games through the injury. So through 4 games,
I think the Cowboys still have Micah Parsons listed as out and DeMarcus Lawrence. So I think they'll be susceptible on the defensive side for throwing the ball and giving Goff more time and not feeling that pressure that those 2 players usually put on opposing offenses. I think it's still like Gibbs and Monty will get their, how the game plan goes. They want to run the ball first, but when they get in close in the red zone, running ain't working. Sam Laporta is not a bad target to have.
Very, very true. Very, very true. Not a bad target at all. So yeah, let's keep it moving. We got your kicker, Chase McLaurin versus the Saints.
This is I watched the Monday night game, and Bucker was able to put up points against the Saints, and McLaughlin put up points against the Falcons last week on Thursday night. And as long as that Bucks offense keeps driving the ball down the field, giving them opportunities to score, I keep firing them up. I think that Saints are coming off a tough loss on a short week, so that defense could be tired, letting the Bucks offense cook a little bit. So he has a safe floor of, a couple extra points at least and some field goals. And I think if I'm looking at the scoring correctly, he scored double digits every week but 1 week so far. And that 1 week was against Ced's Broncos.
We shut them down because they couldn't get the end zone.
So I don't feel like that's going to be the case this week. Keep firing up Chase McLaughlin if you have him. If you got kickers on bye week,
especially against the Saints, right? They've been going not necessarily upwards lately. And I mean,
the Saints are one of the top red zone defenses in the league. Also, you saw it last night a little bit with the Chiefs, where they kept them out a couple times, forcing field goals. So that gives warrant opportunity for McLaughlin to do the same thing against the Saints.
He has 5 50-plus field goals so far this season. He's only missed one field goal, so this guy's
he's banked from distance. He can get you big games there, and he's clutch for extra points and the chip shots.
Yeah, and then this defense goes to what we started out with, man. It's funny how it goes around full circle. So Eagles.
I tried not to break the spoiler early on when that question came up, but this is where I was leading the whole time. I feel like 2 weeks to prepare for this game. Resting up, fully healthy. I know they let go of a player, like said earlier tonight, but still, I think the Eagles will be locked in, playing at home against Deshaun Watson. He's a mistake turnover machine, and he's just not someone who can really break down a defense and light them up and cook. So that Browns offense also, I don't know what the running game's got going. Jerome Ford's looking a little susceptible, not really superhuman like he did last season. Is Nick Chubb going to get back? If he does get back, how much he's going to carry the load? Or is it going to be a pure strong takeover after he's coming back healthy too? So a lot of question marks on the offensive side for the Browns. I like the Philly playing at home against that with that crowd behind them, getting them amped up, playing off of that energy, kind of like how last week when I picked Broncos over the Raiders, playing at home, that energy, divisional game. I like to lean that side, especially on any offense, even though it's not a rookie, but any offense with a quarterback that's prone to making turnovers and mistakes. Fire up those defenses, and my Eagles are that team for me this week.
Okay. I mean, I'm a little iffy on this one. They're ranked number 28 in the league right now.
Yeah. They've had some harder matchups to start the year.
Yeah, 3 points.
And like that Eagles offense to start the year too. After week one, they just kind of not. They got shellacked by the Bucks. They
week one they got shellacked. I mean, come on,
So it just I think they get their groove back. They kind of balance it out here. They put the bad games behind them. Kind of start a new leaf, turn it over, get things going because they're not necessarily a bad defense. I don't think they're a top elite defense, but I think they're a good middle of the road streaming defense that you can fire up, fill in if you got bye weeks or you just don't trust your matchups that well. If you don't have a Texans or you don't have a Packers defense or you don't have the Bears, like one of those top tier, or you got the Vikings defense on a bye too. So they could be a good fill in for you there. So just things that factor in thinking is not necessarily having the top rated defense every week playing in your lineups, but a defense that can capitalize on good matchups.
Heck yeah!
Let's get these teams said.
Yeah. So we got Austin's team. Austin, sorry, we had to get through that.
What's the rating scale, by the way, before we get into this?
Huh?
Well, is there a rating scale, or how are you rating this? Like grade level 1 to 10, or
I guess let's do A, B, C, D, or nothing. Yeah. So
A through F. We'll go
A through F.
We'll do like that.
Okay. We'll start with this quarterback.
Or D. We'll go A through D because failing is a little kind of like radical, or just
A through C. A through C.
Okay.
A through D.
Yeah, because D is not failing. It's just below average.
And then and if it's lower than D, then you'll get a. Let's see.
You get a sounder. Oh, you don't want that.
You don't want that. So
let's hear what we got.
all right, what we got? We got quarterback CJ Stroud. What are you thinking? What are you thinking?
I love it.
I like it. I mean, that's a good pick. All right, you want to just go? Oh, we'll just go through the players and we'll go back. So CJ Stroud, wide receivers, Amon-Ra, Zay Flowers, Lazard, Josh Downs. I'd probably try to get out Lazard, but you know.
Hey, well, you helped through the first couple of weeks with big games with Rodgers, so
That's
he's
true.
kind of
He
balanced
does
out his value.
Aaron Rodgers likes him, so I guess that helps for sure in PPR.
Yeah, his value is kind of balanced out from the two big games. He's kind of had two mid to lower tier games now.
That's true. Jonathan Taylor, Aaron Jones, possibly Chase Brown from that trade.
Ooh, let's get that trade going.
Yeah, right. Tucker Kraft, Kyle Pitts, Brock Bowers is kicking his Brandon Aubrey. This team's stacked. Like, that is a great team. I mean,
so are we doing minuses or pluses too, or is it just straight grades like A through D?
B's, yeah. No,
okay.
Well,
no pluses, no minuses. Okay.
Yeah, no. If you feel like it's an A minus, it's a B. It's a C minus, it's a D. And then if it's a D minus, it's a wah. This team's not a wah. This team's not an A. Just because I mean, CJ Stroud has. I mean, he's done great. He's been great, but he did have that one game.
He's got you a good floor. He hasn't necessarily gotten you those ceiling games as frequently as he did last year for you, but he's got a good solid floor. You know you're going to get 17 to 23 points each week. It ain't bad, but again, competing with those top 5 quarterbacks in the league, they're pushing 25 to 30 points and beyond week in and week out. He just hasn't gotten there yet. I mean, he's going to take a hit with Nico Collins being out for a week or two, but he's still solid. I'd still fire him up as my quarterback 1 all day, every day.
Yep. It's just not. Yeah, he's just not completely in that 1A territory, but still legit. I mean, it's just had some low scoring games, which I mean, Pat Mahomes, is being benched right now. So that's just why I would say it's not an A. Huh?
I'd take CJ Stroud over Pat Mahomes right now.
For sure. Would you take CJ Stroud over? Okay, so CJ Stroud over. Let me think. Jaden Daniels.
For fantasy right now, I'd go Jaden Daniels over CJ Stroud.
CJ Stroud over
because Jaden Daniels has that rushing mobility that he's been using, whereas CJ Stroud is not necessarily a pocket passer, but he's not utilized his mobility to his full potential. It's kind of like a blend of like Patrick Mahomes, where he'll run when he can, but it's not like statuesque like a Joe Burrow. He kind of stays in the pocket and not looking to run the ball.
Yeah. CJ Stroud over Dak.
Yeah.
Dak Prescott or CJ Stroud?
Stroud.
Yeah. Baker Mayfield or CJ Stroud?
I'll go Stroud.
Kirk Cochains or CJ Stroud?
CJ Stroud.
Jalen Hurts or CJ Stroud?
CJ Stroud.
All right. All right. Wide receivers, we got Amon-Ra, Zay Flowers, Alex Lazard, Josh Downs. I mean, man,
that's solid. You're probably starting Amon-Ra and Zay Flowers week in and week out, and you're flexing Josh Downs. Probably is what you've been doing lately, and that's good, solid 3-piece monster. Zay Flowers can have. He's kind of had some leaky floors lately, but he's also got the potential of having a solid floor week with potential of getting up there in the high teens for points. And he's in a great offense too with Lamar. It's just Lamar's got to find him more. That's all. He's got all the talent.
Well,
in the
they just
world.
got to figure out that offense more and figure out how to use all of those guys together with Derrick Henry. So
yeah. So 3 out of the 4 are really good. I like as Lazard is kind of just that lower flex option compared to Downs right now, where at the beginning it was Lazard over Downs because he's having his boom in the first couple of weeks, and now it's turned over where it's Josh Downs over Lazard. It's just those are your kind of like interchangeable pieces, but you're firing up Amon-Ra and Zay Flowers week in and week out. Granted, when there's not a bye, or injury.
Yeah. See, and then his running back room, it's a little shaky just due to injuries. Jonathan Taylor.
Yep, just out. Injuries. Otherwise, I like it. I like it a lot.
It's just injuries, and then tight ends. Obviously, Tucker Kraft's booming. Yep. That's all you need, right? Brock Bowers is booming too. Kyle Pitts goes. He's even been, catching some balls lately.
Compared to the relative tight end landscape, you probably got 3 out of the top 10 tight ends right there.
Yeah, so I'd say you probably lost like 2 games. for sure.
It really depends on matchups. I mean, like I said, I've lost a lot of my leagues because I've been playing the highest scoring team in the league, and there's just nothing you can do. You could set the best lineup in the world if the other team scores more points than you. Just take it for a half win. You did the best you could setting your lineup. You just fought a monster.
Yeah. So what do you rate this team as?
I'll break it down position by position, and then I'll give you the consensus full over. CJ Stroud is his quarterback. That's an A. That's a great pick. That's a great quarterback one. I'm not worried about having him in my lineup and set and forget it. Unless there's a bye week or injury, then I'll be switching him out. We're good there. Wide receivers between Brown, Flowers, Lazard, and Josh Downs. I give it a solid B. I mean, the Lazard and the Downs end of it, or the Lazard, Downs, and the Flowers end of it kind of brings it down a letter grade because Amon-Ra is at that A. Those other three receivers combined bring it to a B. Bring it to the average, we'll take a B. For the wide receivers, the running backs, Aaron Jones, Jonathan Taylor, and potentially Chase Brown.
And Derrick Henry.
Oh, and Derrick Henry, that's a straight A. I mean,
changes it, right? That changes everything.
You're unfortunately handling Jonathan Taylor and Aaron Jones on injuries, but before that, you were firing them up, no problem. Set it and forget it. You don't care. You're getting points, big points. So that's a great stable of running backs. I like the combination of Taylor and Jones, and then having King Henry do his thing. Acquiring Chase Brown, it's a great flex option of all those running backs there in case to fill in for injuries. So I give this running back room an A. So far we got quarterback A, wide receivers B, and running backs A. His tight ends, Tucker Kraft, you probably didn't draft. You picked him off of waivers. That's a good gem, a little diamond in the rough action there. Kyle Pitts, very disappointing, very mid compared to where you probably drafted him in drafts. So that brings that room down a little bit. And Brock Bowers, he's showing some promise. He's showing some upside. He's looking that he could take that top three for sure, maybe possible top one tight end of the year, rest of the season, if the quarterback room of Las Vegas figures it out and feeds him the way he deserves, because he's probably like the next up and coming big top tier tight end out of the whole group. So, I mean, I think with the tight ends overall, based off, draft value, where they performed so far this year, I give it a B. I mean, they've had, but that's the sense of, I would give it an A, but like this, the inconsistency between Pitts, Tucker is just coming up with a couple big games. He didn't really start off the year too excitingly, and then now Brock Bowers is getting his groove and starting to up and coming out of it. So it's not quite there. It's, if anything, it'd be like a B plus. Like it's getting there, but it's not quite there yet. So I'll keep it at a B. And then kicker, huh?
No, I was just telling everybody to look down.
Okay.
On our
Now,
group of Facebook.
I was like, is my zipper down? And then kicker, I mean, you got arguably the best kicker in the league. He's probably got the most points in the league so far for kicker. So, and on an offense that can drive the ball consistently, put him in position to score points week in and week out, that's an A. So overall on his team, we got quarterback A, running backs A, wide receiver B, tight end B, and kicker A. So that's three A's, three B's overall. Based on the upside and potential of this team, where it can be from where it's at now, I'll give it an A. I see more upside on this team long-term rest of season than I do seeing it being on the downslide. I mean, injuries are unfortunate. You can't predict them. You got to just plan and adjust to them as they happen. So you can't hold that detrimental to the value of the team overall. You got a lot of pieces that are solidifying your lineups week in and week out. And, he's doing well, possibly getting Chase Brown to fill in those spots where he needs them. He's managing this team well, running it accordingly, and I think he's doing a great job with what he's got and what he drafted. So overall, I give it an A.
There you go. I think it's a pretty stacked team, especially when you add Derrick Henry into there. It's like, okay, your running back room is solidified. You're pretty good either way you go in your tight end room. Wide receivers are off the charts unless Zay Flowers gets hurt. Lazard probably slow down. Josh Downs, we'll see who the quarterback is, but Amon-Ra, that's going to be consistent, and CJ Stroud's going to kill it as he did last season. So
Mhm.
I'm cool with giving I'm cool with giving that an A as well too. Moving
Awesome. Yeah,
on,
an A.
moving on, and I'm gonna give we'll go another 20 more. We'll keep it going. We'll see how it
Hey,
goes.
I am
It's
fine,
rocking
man.
right now.
I'm fueled. I'm ready to go. You're the bus driver, man. Like I said, I'm
I
just
know
sitting here
we're
in the back
rocking.
of
I
my
mean,
backpack.
you
Got
guys
my
keep it
folders of
coming. We keep it
information.
coming. We'll try to keep it. We'll try to keep it going. We'll probably wind down here
But
shortly.
if we can, if we have to wind it down and take it off, feel free. Hit us up in the Discord. Hit us up on
the
the Facebook
the
group. Throw it up.
Facebook
Throw your
group.
questions, your comments. Feel free. We can
If you're on
answer.
Facebook, I guess
Yeah.
Facebook's for older people. I'm an older person.
Well,
so.
still though, it's what we're trying to get people to use so we can keep the communication. I mean,
Yep.
I don't know how fluent people are in using Sleeper and
Yeah.
Discord right now on the channels and communicating
All
with us through there.
On Shady Sports Network on all the social medias at
Mhm.
303 Bandwagon on all the social medias, even down to TikTok. We post shorts. I'm posting shorts on there weekly, daily. As well as my car videos too. Like I said earlier, guys.
Yeah,
Exotics.
it's all good.
Hit me up, man. We got a really, really cool.
You heard that
looking-
turbo flyby earlier?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. I don't even want to say it sound like my car get on me, but whatever. Hit me up, man. I'll put you in something sweet. But yeah, we got Mr. Wumbo. I'm out here being like, man, Blake Corum got 5 touches and caught a ball. I better keep an eye on him. And people are like, so I have these 3 running back 1s and 2 running back 2s. Who do I start this week? And it's true. Like, it depends on the size of your league too. Like, here, I'm gonna pull up my Yahoo league.
But
really
Mr.
quick.
Wumbo, I'm going to let you know here right now on redraft, I'm probably just stashing Blake Corum right now. I'm happy that he's getting touches and getting opportunities. They're going into the bye week. What is that?
You see that? My
Yeah.
Yahoo. Sorry,
Yeah.
your team did not deliver. So it happens.
That's funny. So redraft, I'm definitely stashing Blake Corum. Just keep looking at him. It's good that he's getting these touches and these opportunities. It shows McVay is interested in him to get him on the field, believes in him and the talent. I mean, it only is going up. He's got 0 snaps to start the year. He's getting 5 touches now. Going into the bye, they'll probably work him into the offense more and more to work the load off of Kyron Williams. They probably don't want him running 25, 30 times. It's a long season. If they want to make a playoff push, they got to play it smart. And Blake Corum's the next man up. Give him some carries, give him some opportunities. It's respectable up to this point. He's a rookie. I mean, everyone wants this instant gratification of their rookies to pop off right away, go big, go nuts, go all Madden-like. But the reality is that the NFL is a business. They're going to run it like a business, and they're going to keep their assets and their investments healthy as long as they possibly can and put them in the best position for them to succeed. And right now, it's probably best that Blake Corum sits behind Kyron for a little bit longer, get his opportunities while he can, sparsely throughout the year. And then next year, pretty more of a 50-50 split to a competition. If you have him in Dynasty, it's promising. Keep holding on to him. Don't sell him for low value. Don't panic trade him or whatnot. Just hold because they drafted him for a reason. They're going to have him in that offense to be some sort of function at some point. He's not a dead man walking or just a bench clog by any means. So, Mr. Wumbo, keep supporting your man. Keep sticking with Blake Corum. And, some people just have it better than the rest of us, We can't all have nice things and, you got to enjoy what you have and make the most out of it.
Mm-hmm. Very, very true. Very, very true. So, and you hear that? I mean, yeah, you never know. It's NFL, man, right? Like, what have you done for me lately? Things pop at any moment. Like, things change. So, hold on to him, man, Mr. Wumbo.
Because Kyron's been known to get hurt. He's been hurt before. So, if knock on wood, hope it doesn't happen. Don't wish injury on anybody, but he'll be the next man up, and I think he'll do a respectable job with it, given this time to, reflect and learn and get developed into this league.
Very true.
Very money. He's hitting us up with the lineup.
Yeah, 10-man PPR. Burrow, Josh Jacobs, Gibbs, CeeDee Lamb, Chase, Dalton Kincaid, DK, Wicks, Bucky Irvin, Tyrone, Joshua Downs, Myers, Worthy, Brooks, who's an IR. 3-2, any moves?
3-2, any moves?
No.
Your quarterback's set and locked up. Your
Yeah.
wide receivers are definitely set and locked up. It looks like your running
Your
back
running
room's
backs
got
are set.
is got some respectable depth now that Bucky Irvin and Tracy are starting to show themselves to prove that if anything happens to Jacobs or Gibbs, you're comfortable throwing them in your lineups and getting a good floor.
Mhm.
Your reserves for your wide receivers, you got heavy hitters in Chase and CD, so you got big points with DK, filling out the third spot. Wicks just can't catch the ball. He gets his targets. He, gets looked at by Love, but he hasn't made the most of his opportunities yet. But I wouldn't be out on him just quite yet. Same with Worthy. He's making the most of his opportunities as he gets them. But I think that Chiefs offense is just operating on the fly and doing the best they can with what they got. He'll get better as the season goes on. Downs I'm more comfortable with as Flacco stays as the quarterback there for Indianapolis as long as he can. I mean, I don't wish malice against AR-15 or his health or whatnot, but right now, for the betterment of the team, the offense is running and operating better under Flacco than it did with Anthony Richardson to start off the year. Myers is probably your only question mark I have on your team, and that's the guy I'd probably drop to make room for Brooks when he comes back off of the IR, because that Raiders offense, it's a big question mark. They love their tight ends right now with Mayer and Bowers. If Devontae ends up moving on somewhere else, Trey Tucker is emerging as a good wide receiver in that room and is getting targets. I mean, DJ Turner's coming up too. He'll probably get more reps as the season goes along if Devontae moves on. But at the same time, Myers would probably be the wide receiver 1 in that system if Devontae moves on. So overall, I don't think you need to make any moves at the moment. I mean, if a trade comes your way, listen to it, check it out, see if you like it. If not, you're not forced with this lineup or this roster to make any moves. I think 3-2 is a respectable record for this roster. I imagine the 2 losses came off of weeks that these guys had a down week, and the other team you're playing against just capitalized off of it.
Well, I mean, I imagine it took, Burrow wasn't necessarily coming out the gates
Yeah.
firing.
He had a
He didn't
slower
really go
start.
out to that Carolina game.
Mhm.
And then Dalton Kincaid, he hasn't exactly been lighting the boards up. So I mean, you could look for like a tight end, yeah, right. Like
Yeah.
DK hasn't been doing a whole lot, but Gibbs has been going off, Jamar Chase has been going off, CeeDee Lamb's been going off, and then recently they've been going off. So I imagine he's been picking it up lately.
I think Kincaid though too. He was a toss up for me in my team of the week between him and Laporta. It's just Laporta I've seen it a little bit more so far than out of Kincaid, but
yeah.
the other shoe is going to drop here soon. Like Josh Allen has got to get him involved. They drafted him for a reason. He's the Travis Kelce prototype. They want to model that same system that the Chiefs have going there with a big pass catching tight end who can run routes and be productive down the field and stretch it for Josh Allen. So at some point, I think the Bills are going to figure it out, get him the ball more, get him involved in the offense, and start seeing him be a more productive player at the tight end position. So I wouldn't panic sell him. I wouldn't drop him. I wouldn't trade him for anything less than where you drafted him for, because he's young, especially in Dynasty. I wouldn't be moving him in Dynasty. In redraft, only thing I would be doing is possibly moving like a Tracy or Irving or Downs or Worthy after these weeks that they've been having and try to secure depth at your tight end position, because you got a good front half of your lineup with Jacobs and Gibbs and CD and Chase, that if you were to take out one of those 2 depth pieces, like either a Tracy and a Worthy or a Downs and an Irvin, and try to get like a tight end 2, like a Tucker Kraft or a Mike Gesicki or some sort of tight end that is not necessarily stellar, but is off to have boom weeks in productive offenses.
Yeah, I like that. Moving on. Austin, when do we usually go live? He wants to know when we usually go live. Every Tuesday at 6:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Every Sunday at 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Here
we
on
look
Shady
forward to
Sports
seeing you,
Network.
Austin. We want to see you here more. We
Come
like
back
you.
with us. Come back with us Sunday night. Well, we'll be doing a recap. So Tuesday nights we're doing a preview. We're doing this, starter bench them. We're going over all these trades. Going over rumors, going over injuries, depth. wire or waiver moves, whatever it may be. And then Sunday we're coming back, we're looking at it, right? We're playing the game.
And if you followed us since the beginning of the year, you get to see the different shades of me, the optimism, the hype, and the excitement as the week going into the week. And then you cop on Sunday and you just see me just completely just eviscerated by my matchups and just trying to hold it together.
Yeah. And the same thing, that's fantasy football. That's the same way it goes, right? Like it goes up and down,
Absolutely,
down.
Mr. Wumble. I'm happy to help you out. I hope you are able to acquire one of those things that you're looking for to help boost your team up.
Right. Yeah. No, thank you, Mr. Wumble. We definitely appreciate you guys tuning in with us and all this engagement. I mean, normally I'm like, oh, I gotta go, but I figured I was like, let's keep it going right now.
We gotta keep the bus driver happy.
Yeah, as long as this bus is rocking, you know what I mean? We'll keep it going.
If the buses are rocking, we ain't stopping.
We ain't stopping if the bus is rocking. We're keeping these highlights going. So yeah, we'll keep it moving. We got Isaiah Williams. Isaiah, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for tuning in.
Isaiah coming with a hot trade, Seth.
Yeah, Jefferson and Pollard for Hill and Mixon.
Let me think about this though. Think if this popped up to you in your trade box or whatever at the beginning of the season, looking at like this, you're probably like, no.
Oh yeah, no. But
yeah, but like now we're in week 5. Tony Pollard is emerging as that running back 1 in Tennessee. He's popping off big runs, looking good. Jefferson is that stud you drafted for in your wide receiver room, and then Mixon's hurt. Hill lost a quarterback. What are we doing here? So it's amazing how 5 weeks can change the perspective on trades.
Yeah, so I'd probably I'm doing that for sure.
You doing that trade?
Well, and then if you can get Hill and Mixon, I mean, it sounds like the rest of your team's stacked. So you're hoping that when these guys come back, they go off, right? So
for me, breaking it down, I'm doing the trade as well. Said I agree with you. I do the trade. Because rest of season long term, I know Pollard's past his bye week, but he's also splitting carries with Tajay Spears. And like I said earlier, there's that split that's coming, that emergence, that they're both getting equal opportunities. And the Titans haven't really figured out if they want to be a run heavy offense or a pass operating offense. And where Mixon in his situation, he's hurt, but when he comes back healthy, he's the number 1 guy there. He's the bell cow. Before he got hurt, he showed you with his production that he's the running back 1. Set it and forget it. And he's putting that production that is better than any week that Tony Pollard has put up so far in this season. And if Tyreek Hill gets a quarterback that can get him the ball, or Tua comes back, then it's an arguable 1-for-1 between Jefferson and Tyreek Hill. I mean, how long do the Vikings stay hot for? TJ Hawkinson's coming back in the mix. That's another mouth to feed. You already got Addison. You got Naylor coming up. And you got all these options for Darnold. I mean, yes, Jefferson's going to get his, he's going to have a respectable amount, but is he going to have as many ceiling games as what potentially Hill could have if Tua comes back healthy and okay, or you get to quarterback? Because Hill can hit those home run balls just as much as Justin Jefferson. So it's like more like a preference thing. Who you like more rest of season, Jefferson or Hill? So for me, with the prospect of like, okay, I already know that I'm comfortable. I like Mixon over Pollard, and I'm willing to take that risk that Hill gets a quarterback or Hill gets Tua back and what he can do in that offense. I'm comfortable going after Hill and Mixon then. I mean, I know it can completely backfire, but if you're a team like mine that's sitting at 1-3, 0-5, 2-3, you're looking to make a splash, make a move to get that needle going so you can make a surge in a midseason run here. I'm doing it. I mean, I have no sentimental or like value like towards Hill or Jefferson either way. I mean, it's pretty much to me a 1-for-1. I don't know how you see them, but Mixon is clearly a step and above when he's healthy over Pollard.
Oh yes, for sure. But when he's healthy though, that's the key word.
So you're taking more of the risk and the liability at the moment with Hill and Mixon side of the deal, whereas you're getting more steady, consistent value and more security with the Jefferson and the Pollard side at the moment.
And I'd probably, But I mean, if you're banking on,
And it depends on your team comp too, and like where you're all at and everything. Like if
exactly.
you're like Houdini, who's like set stacked, loaded, and forget it. You can make moves like this, try to spice it up and try to get even higher ceiling and bigger booms. But I know that I noticed that last comment before. You're welcome. I appreciate you asking your questions and having your comments, and we're here to help you out. I think who was that one that said thank you?
Yeah, that was Nero.
Thanks, Nero. Hope I pronounced it again right.
Yeah, they're new to the YouTube live stuff.
I'm glad you're checking us out, being new on YouTube and live stuff. Like, we're happy you're here. You're happy to join us, and hope we gave you a good experience and a positive experience in the live environment and on YouTube. I hope you come back.
We're new too, right? We're new too, right? Like,
yeah. So I'm very new.
When did you start? The beginning of the season with me, right? Like,
yeah, so, yeah. You just brought. I was just a little happy boy sitting at the bus stop. You looked at me and just picked me up and put me on your bus, and I'm here.
Right? I was like, "Oh, you don't have bus fare here? I'm gonna put you to work. Put you to work."
I promise I'll make it up to you. I'll get the money for the bus ticket later.
Right. So
I got a loan out.
nothing serious here. And we just do this for the love of it. I've been rocking with Sam over here at Shady Sports Network since the beginning, 4 years ago. I'm running this for the past 3 seasons, but this is the first season where it's really like come together, and really like locked in. And I think me and Shani really been slowly building up to this, but I think kind of tied it in, just coming and bringing all that expertise and knowledge in. So, we just do this for the love. So trust me, we're not some professional analyst, though. I would love to do this professionally. So,
you're getting there, man. You're building it. You don't build a house right away. You don't throw it up right. Brick by brick, mortar by mortar.
Yep.
Window by window.
Yep. We're getting there and we're getting it done, just doing what we can. So thank you guys for supporting us. Don't forget to hit that like button and please hit that share button because it really does help. And it doesn't, take anything at all. We're not asking for money or anything, just a like and a share, and some comments and keep them coming. So we got Julian. Julian, thanks for tuning in.
Thank you, Julian.
Yes. Just traded for
let's help you out here. Let's help Julian.
Julian has
raise his team.
Dobbins, DK, Drake, Jake Ferguson, and Tank Dell. What do you think?
I like the trade value you did with Likely for J.K. Dobbins. I mean, tight end landscape's a little bit barren, but with Mark Andrews having himself a little bit of a game too, I think it'll be game to game, tempo by tempo, scheme for the Ravens. It could be a Likely game, it could be an Andrews game, it could be a Likely game, it could be an Andrews game, but for Dobbins, he's the guy right now. Yeah, he'll split a few carries here and there in the Chargers offense, but the Chargers want to run the ball. They're going to run first, and they've chosen to do it with Dobbins. So you have higher volume, higher opportunity for point scoring, and less variance for risk or more of a goose egg. So I like that trade there to start off, Julian. And then you have Fields, Brees, Dobbins, DK, Drake London, I'm assuming, Jake Ferguson, and Tank Dell. I like that starting lineup. I'd probably have Brees and Dobbins as my running backs. I got DK Drake as my wide receiver 1 and 2, throwing Tank in my flex, and Jake Ferguson as my tight end. That's a solid B, I think. That's a solid B team because Dak likes to throw it to the tight ends at some times. Ferguson has put up some productive numbers. Drake is performing finally from where you drafted him, and DK is doing DK things. He's rock steady. He's where you want him to be. And Fields, I think, I wish Shawnee was on here to elaborate on it, and I think he might agree with me that he's outperforming his expectation from the beginning of the season. Like, this was supposed to be the Russell Wilson show. So what you got with Fields so far, the rushing ability and him being able to manage games, it just needs to be a little bit more ball security and better decision-making down the field. But in his defense, though, his wide receivers are not getting any separation or winning any challenges against the defenders. They need to create more opportunities, more open looks for him, so Fields gets a little bit more comfortable in taking those chances down the field and throwing to those guys.
Yep. Yeah. I think this team you're winning a lot more games than you're losing with this, but a lot of this is dependent upon other injuries as well too. like as in JK.
Yeah, for redraft, it's a solid B, and I think for a
Mhm.
dynasty, if we go that route, it's a solid B too. You got some young pieces, you got some solid middle of the road assets, and you that's definitely a contending team. That's a team going for a ship, making a
There
playoff
we go.
push.
There we go. All right, we're gonna move through these next ones kind of quick, and then we're gonna wrap it up. So we got
Ooh,
mythical.
top of the bus, running out of gas.
Yeah, the bus is getting there. So we got mythical. Pick up Mooney or Wandell.
Spicy.
Ooh,
Spicy.
I'm just going with Wandell just because he's been consistent since the beginning, whereas Mooney just picked it up.
But
in this
Mooney,
Tampa
man,
Bay
you see,
game.
he had himself a game
He did have himself a game, but Wandell's been having himself games
for multiple games. There's a plural there. There's an S. So yeah,
and I mean, it's giving faith to Danny Dimes. I'm starting Danny Dimes this week.
I would pick up Wandale Robinson when you could. Like I said, I trust him throwing in my weekly lineup this week. I picked him up everywhere 2 weeks ago with my waiver priority. It's been paying off, and he's been rewarding me, so I'm going to give him his due. And that's no shade or off to Darnell Mooney. This could be a good fortune of things to come. Kirk's getting confident with him. He's getting comfortable throwing it to him, and he's showing that he can pop off for some big plays. So either way you go with it, where you prefer it, we recommend here Wandale. We like Wandale more because he had the plural games, better games. But Mooney has made it a conversation with the big game he had this last week.
Kraft or Laporta? One's been, going kind of coming back up, right? And the other one's just shot up really quick, right? So which one are you?
Dynasty, I'm going Laporta.
All day.
Redraft.
Right. I'm still going Laporta probably. Well, but I don't know. I'm still going Laporta. I like Kraft, and Kraft is going off for sure, but I think,
I am going to lean Kraft in redraft because he separated himself from Luke Musgrave as the tight end one there. Loves him and is throwing it to him over a Wicks, over Dobbs, over Watson's been hurt, so you can't really say that, but he's choosing him as his second read next to Jaden Reed. So we know a comfortability there that if Reed were to go down, he's very comfortable and confident in throwing it to Tucker Kraft. Laporta this year, I think with the emergence of Jamison Williams, I think he's taking a step back from what we saw last year of that tight end one potential. I still think he's going to be a top 5 tight end, but that gap, if the pace and the trend continues, like where Laporta isn't really featured as the higher, like the third, probably you'd say with Amon-Ra, Jamison Williams, then Laporta, whereas Tucker Kraft now has emerged as probably the secondary option throwing with Love between Reed and Kraft. And if that pace continues, I think the gap can probably be closed. And I know Laporta is going to have good games, don't get me wrong, but Kraft just showed us that back-to-back games, he can have ceiling games in this offense when he can step up with injuries and he can step up with, opportunity. And the running game is still consistent there in Green Bay. But the Packers, from what I've seen from the transition from the first 2 games where they're more run-centric and you saw Jacobs bell counting it and run the ball more and more. Now that they got Love back, they've been putting the ball in the game in Love's hands, and he's throwing it a lot more, which is giving him and Tucker Kraft a lot more opportunity. Where with Laporta, Dan Campbell and those lines, they want to run first. They run the ball, and then they feed Amon-Ra. And when they get you all sleeping or get you comfortable, they'll break it over the top with Jamison Williams for big plays. Yep. And then that leaves Laporta somewhere in between. And like I reiterate, it's not like a big drop off with Laporta. I just think that it's kind of going to even out here. And right now in the moment, I'm leaning Tucker Kraft over Laporta. I know they just had a bye week, and even the week so before that, we haven't really seen him from Laporta this year based off of our expectations. So if I'm looking at the numbers and my eye test right now, Tucker Kraft for me is leaning like the option out of those two. And I'm a Lions fan. It hurts me to say I'm picking a Packer over a Lion, but
But I mean, based off the situation, you
If
know,
I
I
want to
don't
win
think you'd be
games, if
wrong
I'm
going
getting
either way.
potentially 20 points from Tucker Kraft right now, and the Packers are throwing the ball more versus getting 15 to 20 points with Laporta, and the Lions are trying to run more and run it a lot more of the time than throwing it. I mean, I'm also in the position where I need wins. I want wins. I need points. And we all do. We all want wins. But until I see it more, like, because that could totally change. Right now it's Kraft, but, 5 more games down the road and we see the old Laporta, then, I'm right back on it.
There we go. So, I mean, I think it could go either way. With that, guys, we're going to wind it down. Those of you we didn't get to, Derek, I think
we missed Derek. Was he able to throw it up in the Facebook group?
It's in the YouTube. If you want to go to the YouTube page, you can see it in the chat in there. It's on the YouTube chat. There was Emragma I can't even say his name. I feel like if I say it, someone's gonna pop up Rumpelstiltskin or something.
I don't have the YouTube thing up, so I can't. I have.
Well, you can jump on there and see it after the fact. But guys, you can jump over to our Facebook group as well too, and keep it going. And Shady Sports Fantasy Football Reports on Facebook, or even Shady Sports Network, either one. If you just want to jump in there, we'll find you. And then follow us again. We'll be back on Sunday at 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, 7 p.m. So come join us then. And then again next Tuesday. Every Tuesday, every Sunday, we're bringing you fantasy football reports. We're bringing you NFL news, just everything about the league. So let's keep it going. Let's talk about it. We're here to try to win these leagues, and we got you. So keep it coming. It's a pleasure. I love how you guys came on tonight and just kept it coming. We didn't even have to get to anything else really because there's so much engagement. So that's what we'd rather have.
And that's a good thing. We'll fill the gaps later.
So we'll get everything in there. So guys, please follow us. Here on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitch, X, all over the place. We're there, guys. Rock with us. Come back. Follow us Sunday. Like I said, we'll be doing the review. And then next Tuesday, we'll have the preview on week 7. So keep it going. We're rocking with you all season, and we're building it up. So, Mythical, thank you for the sub. Thank you for the like, guys.
Thanks, Mythical. Share. Thank you. Yeah. Really like that.
And he sent some stuff in Facebook, so we'll jump on there and we'll get with you.
You're awesome, there. Mythical.
So,
Thank
guys,
you
if you
so
want to
much.
keep it going,
for everybody who commented and threw up their questions tonight, you're awesome. I love it.
It's amazing. Yeah, this is what we're here for, and this is what we want. So let's grow. Let's keep it going. So please share. If all you guys were to share tonight, we'd be pushing over triple digits for sure next week. So please share. Let's get it there. Let's keep it growing. We appreciate you guys. I appreciate you guys. Justin, I appreciate you coming on. Other than that,
and I'm sure Seany does too. I know he's not here, but he sees all this stuff too, even when he's not on, and I'm sure he loves it and is appreciative for it just as much.
Yes, and hopefully we'll get Seany on Sunday. One of these days we'll have him on and talk about his teams as well.
Have a good night, Mythical. Sleep well, and I hope your waiver wires go as well as you hope.
Yes. Get those waiver wires. Follow those injury reports. Check those Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday practice reports too, guys. And just have a good night, guys. Justin, you got anything?
No, we wrapped it up in a bow. I'm just so blessed and overwhelmed by the engagement tonight that I'm just letting it soak in and just having a great way into my evening. I'm going to sleep good tonight. Tonight was awesome.
Exactly. Me too, guys. So bring it again next Sunday and let's keep it going. Have a good one, guys.
I'm a game changer. I'm a game changer. I'm a game changer. Changer. I'm a game changer.